Live from McMahon Stadium in Calgary, it's the Edmonton Eskimos and the Calgary Stampeders. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the annual Labor Day Battle of Alberta. And what a beautiful day we've drawn for the game. A clear sky, sunshine and warm, and a light breeze blowing for a matchup that is very key to both teams. The Calgary Stampeders electrified Canada 2 weeks ago, upsetting the BC Lions, but they were disappointing again last week. They have started to modify their offense, trying to get something going.
Coach Riley took over as head coach. He wanted to put some things in that he's been successful with in the past. The offenses that he's had in Winnipeg and Hamilton, and that's what we're doing. And I think that it does give us some a running game, or at least the possibility of a running game. We keep both backs in the backfield most of the time, so we do have the chance to run the ball. Where in the run and shoot, we put everybody in motion, and we were pretty predictable with when we were going to run the ball.
The Edmonton Eskimos need a win today to pull into a third-place tie with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And in the last couple of weeks, their defensive team has been very disappointing. They're hoping they've got some cures.
Well, we feel very optimistic about this game. Obviously, we haven't played well defensively the past 2 weeks, and there's been obviously some reason for concern. With the system that we're putting in for this Calgary game, we feel that we're going back to basics. We're going to do some few things and do it really, really well. We've made some personnel changes, and we think that's going to be to the benefit of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, the Eskimos have won 14 of the 18 Labor Day matchups, but Calgary would dearly love to pull another upset this afternoon. Let's meet our commentators upstairs in the booth. Here's Dale Isaac and Frank Rigney.
Thank you, Al. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Labor Day in Calgary. There was a time not that long ago when you had this matchup on Monday afternoon in Calgary, Frank, when you were looking at the top two clubs in the CFL. Things have changed a little bit, but what hasn't changed is the fact that the Stampeders are still chasing the Eskimos.
Well, Dale, Dan Kepley said they got to go back to basics. They should go back to Dan Kepley. What an outstanding player he was. And as you look at the lineup, or the Western Division standings, you'll see that this is really a critical game if Calgary's going to get in that playoff race. These are the two most scored-on teams in the Canadian Football League. But offensively, they have the #1 and #2 quarterbacks in the entire Canadian Football League. Matt Dunnigan can run it as well as throw, Dale.
And, of course, Joe Barnes leads the league in passing yardage, and he's completing just under 60% of his passes. So here this afternoon, we have a case of the two good quarterbacks that can make things happen, but we wonder about the Eskimo defense. Are they ready for this one?
This CFL telecast is brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you.
For 7 years, we shared the place kicking duties.
Our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The head official for this afternoon's ball game here at McMahon Stadium, Ross Perrier, and you see the rest of the crew this afternoon as we get set to kick this one off. It'll be J.T. Hay doing the honors for the Calgary Stampeders with a record of 1-6, and the Edmonton Eskimos at 3-4. Eskimos looking for a win to move back into a third-place tie with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the West, and the Stampeders with some new faces in their lineup, 4 brand new starters. And Bud Riley is just looking for some people to go out and play hard and make some things happen in a positive way for this football club.
They called the changes this week phase 2 in Bud Riley's plans. I think the only problem is nobody knows how many phases are going to be. They need a win rather badly.
That they do. As you look at Jack Parker, head coach of the Eskimos, win here this afternoon would give them a 4-4 record. It would make the third straight year the Eskimos are 4-4 at halfway mark. The 2 games today in the CFL, and will have completed the first half of the 85 season. The kickoff from J.T. Hay is brought back out to about the 22-yard line by newcomer Gary Thompson, a 20-yard return. Stu Laird making the tackle for the Calgary Stampeders. Offensively now, as the Eskimos will scrimmage from their own 22 with Matt Dunnigan at the controls and Neil Lumsden, the Larry Cowan, out of the backfielders. The receiving corps, Chris Woods, Brian Kelly, are the wideouts, Sinkar and House inside. The first play from scrimmage this afternoon at McMahon Stadium. Dunnigan will put it up. Looking left all the time, nobody open. Dunnigan near the 30-yard line has a pickup of close to 8 yards on the play.
Dale Randy Troutman, who's played excellent football all year long for the Stampeders, makes a fundamental mistake here. He comes in, Heck Portier takes him on right there, but then he makes a little move to the inside, and Heck pins him and lets Dunnigan get to the outside. You must contain number 16. He's the number 3 rusher in the Canadian Football League. Watch him go around Troutman, 62.
Gain of close to 8. Second down, a little over 2 yards to go. And the give is to Cowan. And he has a first down for the Eskimos out near the 35-yard line. And Bernie Morrison, the outside linebacker, number 72, moved over to make the stop defensively. And the veteran offensive line of the Eskimos, Blake Dermott, is the center. Pache, Conop, Blanchard, and Stevenson, the interior 5 linemen.
You know, talking to Jackie Parker, you asked him about his offense. He said the only problem our offense has had is they haven't had the ball enough. They make things happen when they do have it.
First down Eskimos, 35-yard line. Great protection for Dunnigan, and he just dumps it off to Lumsden, who coughs it up. It is picked up by Larry Hogue. Larry Hogue will score the game's first touchdown.
Just does not fumble the ball that often. It appeared that he just got hit as he turned around. Matt just throwing out here to the flat.
That's newcomer Ken Miller, number 21, who played in Ottawa.
Well, yeah, as you could see, he caught him with that helmet as he went to make the tackle, and a very good, as they say, Argo bounce for the Stampeders. And it's 7 or 6-0 so far, and JT will try to make it 7.
Not a bad start for defensive halfback Ken Miller. Back in the CFL now, his very first hit with the Calgary Stampeders, forces a turnover. Hogue picks up the fumble and takes it into the end zone. 7-0, the conversion by J.T. Hay. Stampeders leading the Edmonton Eskimos.
Watch Ken Miller once again as he comes in to make this stop on Lumsden. His helmet, Lumsden's got the ball in his left hand, and that helmet meets the ball, and it pops right out.
Ken Miller went south, had a tryout with Chicago of the NFL, and has just returned to the Canadian Football League. He's only been in camp about a week and activated for this game. One of the 4 new starters that the Stampeders have in their lineup today. 3 of them on defense. Miller, one of them. The other is middle linebacker. You'll love this name, Knox Culpepper. And Fred Worthy, who was with the BC Lions earlier this year, starting at defensive end.
Culpepper, Knox Culpepper. That sounds like an academic middle linebacker, does it not?
Out of Georgia at 6 feet, 218 pounds.
Sounds like he should be out of the Ivy League to me.
For J.T. Hay, will kick it off once more, and we've played less than 2 minutes of the opening quarter. Stampeders lead it 7-0 on a fumble return by Larry Hogue. Milson Jones back at the goal line. Jones out across the 15 and brought down by Greg Peterson, number 24, about the 18-yard line. A return of 18, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Eskimos once more. Good start defensively for Calgary here this afternoon.
Couldn't ask for much more, could you? There's the defensive unit. Fred Worthy, picked up from the BC Lions, is a new starter on that front 4. Unbelievable athlete. We'll tell you more about him in a few moments. He's number 67.
Belleville, Troutman, Walker, the rest of that front 4. Looking at the Eskimos' 1st and 10 play. Dunnigan Lays one out there for Chris Woods. He makes the catch, is forced out of bounds immediately at the 26-yard line by Ron Hopkins. The gain is 7 yards.
Woods with that outstanding speed, just about the fastest guy in the Canadian Football League. The longest kickoff return of the year in 85, 81 yards. And there's your newcomer at middle linebacker, Mr. Culpepper. And Ken Miller, the fellow that caused the pummel from Neil Lumsden, get the Stampeders off to a quick 7-0 lead.
Woods actually picked up 8 yards on first down. It's 2nd and 2. Larry Cowan turning it upfield and forced out of bounds by Richie Hall at the 34-yard line. It's first down for the Eskimos. Richie Hall, of course, little guy at 5'6", 160, in on a lot of tackles for the Calgary Stampeders. Take a look at Larry Cowan going back to the offensive huddle. Cowan, of course, has not scored a touchdown this year. I think he only scored one last year, and that was against Calgary.
Matt's scoring them all. There's only one guy in the Canadian Football League that's had more rushing touchdowns than Matt Dunnigan. That's P. Van Jenkins.
Neil Lumsden has the football, and he is caught at the 35-yard line. And on the tackle, James Walker. He a gain of about a yard, 2nd down and 9.
You know, we mentioned Fred Worthy. You see him on your screen right there, number 67. He's actually playing a linebacking spot here. He can go from an up position or down. This guy is 6'5", 265 pounds, and he was a decathlete. He has high jumped over 7 feet and pole vaulted over 16 feet. And he's now a 265-pound defensive lineman.
Out of Clemson University. Without the helmet, James Walker has the sack on Matt Dunnigan. Worthy was there as well, but a great play by James Walker, number 64, for a loss of 8. It'll force the Eskimos to punt.
James gets his 6th sack of the season, which will now lead the Calgary Stampeders. They've had problems in that department. You saw Portier push the helmet right off the head of James, but it did not stop him. These two teams have had real problems putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks, so that obviously is very encouraging to the Stampeders.
Tom Dixon now into punt. Tag Rome is back deep along with Rufus Kopp. Good punt by Dixon.
Best kicker in the Canadian Football League.
Rome from the 30-yard line. And the former Eskimo is brought down at the 35. And that's where the Stampeders will start when we come back. It is 7-0. Calgary leading the Eskimos. We'll return in just a moment. Eskimo cheerleaders are on hand here at Calgary's McMahon Stadium for this annual matchup between the two Alberta rivals. And that punt by Tom Dixon traveled 53 yards. After the first 8 weeks of the season, as Frank mentioned, he led the league in average at 47 yards even. I don't know if he still leads it now after that show that Bob Cameron put on yesterday at Taylor Field. It looks like Dixon wants to try and regain it again anyway.
It's a big advantage if this ball game is close, though, you know, because the average is almost 5 yards further.
Okay, you two guys.
A little offensive help there for the Eskimos on the bench.
Stampeders with the ball for the first time now offensively. Danny Baker wants to throw. Wide open. Emmanuel Tolbert, first down Calgary and more. 50-yard line for Calgary.
Right.
The Stampeders open up with a bit of a trick play. 16-yard gain.
I think actually this was a secondary receiver, but Fred Fleming has him on your isolated shot in any event. You saw the pressure being put on by big James Zachary. And there's your isolated shot at Olbert, just hooking to the outside or curling to the outside. Danny Barnett, of course, was a quarterback against these Eskimos in this game last year.
Yep.
So he knows how to throw the football.
And Tolbert, the leading receiver for the Stampeders. Barrett is now out of the ball game for some equipment repairs.
Boy, he's a good athlete.
He has been replaced by Dan Runs, the former Eskimo that the Stampeders acquired a week ago. Joe Byron now completes his first pass of the ball game, and he goes right back to Emmanuel Tolbert working against Cliff Toney. Very close to a first down.
Yeah, we heard Joe Barnes talk about the changes in offense, and watch this. He knows he's going to throw the football, but instead of putting these people out in motion, he's putting them up there to give him a little extra time to throw the football. He has been the most sacked football club in the country at 42 sacks. But look at this, a lot of time to throw the football.
And another first down for the Stampeders near the Eskimo 50-yard line.
He can take off.
Boy, he had a lot of room, didn't he? Rufus Cox goes up high to take the pass from Barnes. Another first down at the Eskimo 30-yard line. The safety, Lawrence Delorier, made the tackle, a pickup of 19.
Good ball handling by Joe Barnes. Created some time for himself right there. He could have taken off with the football. Watch it open up. Fine catch by Rufus Cox.
3 plays, 3 first downs, 3 completed passes. Barnes has them on the move. Goes to Cox again as Darryl Hall was giving him a big cushion. It's now first down Calgary inside the Eskimo 20-yard, a gain of 13.
Well, this looks like a good offensive football club right now. The Eskimos are the worst team in the country in terms of sacking the opposing quarterback, and right now Joe is getting all the time he needs to throw the football.
Coming in, the Eskimos ranked 9th. Only 16 sacks through the first 7 games. First down, Stampeders. The ball at the Eskimos 17. Barnes, a little bit of trouble, goes down this time. Pressure from Tuana and from Stu Hill back at the 25, so he'll lose about 8 yards. Nobody open, and the Eskimos got some pressure from up front. It'll be second down and long from the 25.
I think that's one of the cases, Dale, where you can give the credit for the sack to the defensive backs. They did an outstanding job downfield. Still a team game, isn't it?
Sure is. Barnes has to get near the 5-yard line for a first down.
Got onside.
Inside the 5-yard line, first down to Tag Rome. And the tackle is made by Delorier.
Once again, they do not keep containment on the quarterback. Watch Joe as he comes back to the left side. He's got time to throw the ball. Nobody pressured him. And an excellent throw down to the 3-yard line.
Good catch by Tag Rome as well. He's a former Eskimo, 22-yard pickup. He comes out of the ball game now as the short yardage unit is in for the Stampeders. They're first and goal from the 3-yard line. Barnes to the newcomer, Larry Mason. He's near the 1-yard line as the Eskimos. Dave McNeil got a piece of him, the new middle linebacker in there for the Eskimos, as a starter at least. Been a good special teams player for Edmonton for the past month, but Danny Bass is on reserve. McNeil is starting, number 37. This is Mason in his first CFL game.
Good hit by McNeil, but he does not wrap his arms around him. 37. Gains about 1.5. It'll be second and 1.5. We have 6:45 remaining in this first quarter. Calgary threatening to go ahead by 2 touchdowns.
Mason again. There's a penalty flag down. Mason went over the top into the end zone.
That penalty was called by the back judge. In the defensive backfield, it may well been against the
Calgary
Stampeders.
So there's no touchdown yet.
Looked like the end jumped offside, didn't you think, Frank?
I'll be honest with you, Al, I did not see what happened on the play, but here's the call.
I think it was Dan Run.
Procedure, Calgary number 31. Second down repeated.
Frank, you mentioned...
Dan Runge is absolutely right.
There it is.
Oh, you saw it down at the bottom of your screen. The big guy, 6'9", was an Eskimo a couple of weeks ago. Jumped offside.
So now it's second down from the 6-yard line. Goal to go. Putting it deep in the end zone. Barnes to Cox. Tipped away by Darryl Hall. Cox did catch it, but he was out of bounds. So that'll bring up third down, and we'll see the field goal unit. A big penalty.
Nobody feeling worse about that play than Dan Runge. He's just canceled a major, and Stampeders will have to settle for a field goal attempt. Good defense by Darryl Hall.
They will have
better corners in the league.
They will have a little wind going for them on all kicks in this first quarter. It is not nearly as breezy as it was about 20 minutes before the game, but it does favor Calgary.
Al, it shouldn't be a big factor in the passing game, should it?
I agree. It's not much of a wind.
14-yard field goal attempt, and backup quarterback Rick Johnson doing the holding for J.T. Hay, and he makes it good, and the Stampeders come away with a 3-pointer. They now lead the Eskimos 10-0 with 6:09 remaining first quarter, and we'll be right back. Lowry and his troops as the Stampeders on a defensive touchdown, fumble recovered by Larry Hogue, and a field goal by J.T. Hay, plus a convert, lead the Eskimos 10-0 with just over 6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. And the Stampeders when they had the football offensively, certainly moved it well, but they had to settle for 3 points. The Eskimos have dominated the series between the two teams over the last few years. They've won the last 3 straight. Now it's first down, Edmonton from their own 35. They give us to Cowan off tackle, 40-yard line for a pickup of close to 5 yards on the play. Culpepper in on the tackle. And also there defensively, Randy Troutman, number 62.
I'll tell you, Dale, when you have first down on the 3-yard line and the Eskimos have had trouble keeping people out of their end zone, they got to be very pleased that Calgary picked up only 3.
Sure they are. The Eskimos coming in have given up more points than any other team in the league. Look at Larry Cowan's stats in 1985.
Only 2 more than Calgary, though.
That's right. Cowan open along the sidelines. First down, Eskimos into Stampeder territory. Finally bumped out at the 49-yard line by Larry Holt. Number 14, the man who scored the touchdown earlier. 21-yard gain.
This is one thing an experienced quarterback does so much better than a rookie, and that's find those people coming out of the backfield. He's going to look for them right away if they're going to give it to him, and they certainly did there.
The new middle linebacker, Culpepper, number 77, also in on the tackle, showing good range from the middle. First down, Eskimos. Stampeder 49. 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Cowan again. Near the 45 for a gain of 4 yards. Defensively, Gene Beliveau making the stop for the Stampeders. Beliveau, number 82, formerly with Montreal in his first year with the Stampeders. 6'3", 250.
And he's one of the fellows on that defensive unit that they say has played very consistent all year long. He and Randy Troutman at that defensive line spot have really been solid in there.
Second down and 6 for the Eskimos. Larry Cowan tried to get outside, and defensively the Stampeders stack it up. And I think Bernie Morrison had a lot to do with that. Eugene Beliveau, coming from the inside, made the stop on the play along with Walker. But it looked like Morrison, the outside linebacker, prevented Larry Cowan from getting outside where he wanted to be on that play.
This is about the only place on the field that the wind might be a factor, Dale, because if they do attempt a field goal, it'll come from approximately 50 yards. Dixon's got a strong enough arm to, or a leg, I should say, to do that, but Jackie Parker is electing to punt the football here.
Boy, the Stampeders have got a mess going here right now. They had all kinds of people on the field. They managed to get them off, and Dixon puts this one into the end zone. Tag Rome will give up a single point, and the Eskimos are on the scoreboard after a 47-yard single by Tom Dixon. Calgary leads the Eskimos 10-1, and we'll be back with more first quarter action right after this. It turned out to be a very nice day for the Labor Day matchup.
It's always nice to have a sunny day so the ladies can wear their summer costume.
Last time the Eskimos lost to the Stampeders a couple of years ago, and right now it's 10-1 in favor of Calgary. We're in the first quarter. Stampeders first down from their own 35. Joe Barnes, the quarterback. Couldn't find the first man open. He just dumped it off into the middle to Emmanuel Tolbert at the 40-yard line. Maybe the 46, the gain about 6 yards on the play.
See, so far, Dale, you can watch Greg Feger, number 7, the fullback for the Stampeders, and he can lead you to just about every play.
There's the newcomer,
of course,
Mason.
yes, is a newcomer. Feger is the one I was referring to. Tag Rome, former Eskimo, as Dale mentioned, along with Big Dan Runge. Bob Poley, the veteran offensive center, is 9th year in the CFL.
Oh, wide open. Emmanuel Tolbert celebrating his 27th birthday today, and he may be in the end zone. Delorier has a shot at him and brings him down inside the 5. What a day for Emmanuel Tolbert. He is 27 today. 66-yard play.
And Greg Feger provides the first block to allow Joe time to throw that football, and Tolbert wide open down the middle. Joe just getting all kinds of time. Tolbert uses that speed, but Delorier does show a good turn of speed, catching him at the 2-yard line.
Tolbert's now caught 4 for 98 yards, and we're still in the first quarter. It is first and goal, Stampeders from the 2-yard line. Larry Mason, touchdown Calgary. This time, no penalty flag, and they come away with a major. Larry Mason, formerly in the USL with Jacksonville. Picks up his first CFL touchdown and the second of the opening quarter for Calgary.
Boy, they just blow him away. The right side of that offensive line, including Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson comes in there, normally a linebacker, of course. Number 82 at that tight end position, and that whole right side, including Bob Foley from the center position, just folded the Eskimos right back in the end zone.
J.T. Hayes, the point after it is good, and the Calgary Stampeders have opened up a 17-1 lead over the Eskimos, and we have 2:25 remaining in the opening quarter. Larry Mason, I was mentioning him playing his very first game. He got the touchdown. Said the other day he's still trying to get used to the backs in motion in the CFL and the rest of the CFL type of play. And he's only been in camp a week and a half, and he's activated for this ball game. And of course, he's had a lot of playing experience in the U.S. Football League. 2 years with Jacksonville, teamed up with Mike Rozier in 1985, and he gained 331 yards rushing.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's I think a great coaching job that last time, because Emmanuel Tolbert found the hole in that zone. Obviously not a man-to-man defense back there, and the Stampeders are just giving the veteran quarterback Joe Barnes all day to throw the football. I don't know what his total yardage throwing the football is so far, but it's doggone significant.
136, completed 6 out of 7. Chris Skinner on the return. 27-yard line, 3 or 4 Stampeders there to meet him, led by Garrett Dahl, a 24-yard return.
You better get after him. 2 minutes and 17 seconds now still remain in the first quarter, and if you just tuned in, it's a 17-1 ball game in favor of the 1-6 Calgary Stampeders.
Chris Skinner, you just saw heading to the bench. A lot of people are wondering why maybe Chris Skinner isn't playing a little bit more. He's in his second year with the Eskimos and very highly regarded by everybody in the organization, but other than kickoff returns, doesn't see a lot of action. There's Dunnigan stepping up, throwing for Chris Woods, and it was just a little too far.
I'll tell you, James Walker, you saw him out there, number 64, did an excellent job. Rod Knopp came out there to left offensive guard, but at least James Walker kept the quarterback, Matt Dunnigan, inside, so he can get some help there. If you let him get around there, Matt will kill you. As we mentioned, he's the third leading rusher in the Canadian Football League. Only Keevan Jenkins of the BC Lions and Willard Reeves, 1984's most outstanding player, have run for more. So good job by James Walker.
Second down and 10 now for the Eskimos. The ball at their own 28-yard line. It's been all Calgary so far in this first quarter. Dunnigan is hit just as he tried to release the football. A penalty flag does come down in the area which usually indicates offensive holding. That is the call. The Stampeders will decline it and force the Eskimos to punt.
They picked up that blitz pretty well for a second or two, but Matt couldn't find anybody downfield.
Not sure. It might have been Worthy coming around Stevenson.
Edmonton number 50. Declined. Third down.
Troutman hit Dunnigan's arm just as he was releasing the ball.
It was a very dangerous play. It actually hit one of the players' helmets and bounced up in the air once again. So the Eskimos have to kick it away once again against this slight breeze coming from the south here at McMahon Stadium.
Didn't bother Dixon earlier in this quarter.
Sure did.
53-yard punt. Long snap from center Blake Dermott. This one he hangs up there.
He hit it solid.
Rufus Cox misplays it, gets it back, and then is brought down at about the 37-yard line. Leo Blanchard, again, one of the first men downfield, a return of 1, 46-yard punt. Cliff Tony was also there for the Eskimos.
Dale, it's going to be interesting to see how the Eskimo defenders handle this series. They've had a couple of meetings with their coaches on the sidelines here. The Eskimos, of course, talking to Jack Parker, very concerned last week about a lack of contain, lack of pass rush, and it's plaguing them again.
Let's take a look at the Eskimo defensive line with 3 new starters, one in every area. This is Mason again, the ball carrier. The ball pops loose, and the Eskimos have got it. A turnover now in favor of the Eskimos. Looked like John Daly was there and possibly Jack Williams. Let's take another look at it. Daly making the hit. Thompson moves in, and the ball came loose, and I think Jack Williams got it.
Bill, I think Thompson actually was one that hit him to get the ball loose. However, the Calgary Stampeders offense is still on the field.
They're ruling that the play was dead.
Well, if we get a chance, we'll take another quick look at that. Maybe we can run it back right now. They're having a discussion about possession of the ball. It certainly appeared to be a fumble. Not so, said the officials. So, second down. About 6.
Stampeders get a break. Barnes steps up in the pocket, and then he is smothered. Stu Hill was there, and along with James Zachary, one of the newcomers, playing that nose guard position for the Eskimos this afternoon. He's formerly with Montreal in the CFL and had a tryout in the NFL this year.
Here's a look from the linebacker's point of view, exactly what's going on. They thought Tolbert was coming down for a pass reception, so they put him down. However, that was rather a strange call, Dale. It looked like a fumble. Certainly the Eskimos thought it was. The whole defensive unit was off the field.
That sack by the Eskimos pushed the Stampeders back to their original line of scrimmage at the 37, and the punt by J.T. Hay, taken by Jeff Treflin. Treflin's at the 35, and that's as far as he will go. Stu Laird, number 75, was there to make the tackle. 44-yard punt and a return of 6. So we have time for one more play in the opening quarter, and the Eskimos have the ball back. They trail by 16 points. And get a look at Stu Laird after his efforts on the special teams. Second-year man of the University of Calgary. 6'2", 260 pounds right now. Eskimos first and 10 from their own 35. Jones and Cowan in the backfield. Dunnigan dumps it off to Marco Sinkar, and he's brought down immediately by Richie Hall at the 41-yard line. And that should do it. A gain of about 6 yards. The gun sounds at the end of the first quarter. The score is Calgary 17, Edmonton 1. We'll return with the second quarter in just a moment. We're back for the opening play of the second quarter, and the Eskimos looking at second down and 4 from their own 41-yard line. Stampeders in front, 17-1. Great fake by Dunnigan, but he's one-on-one with Richie Hall, and he never fooled Hall one bit. What a defensive play by the little guy out of Colorado State in his third year. Just a super little football player.
Dale, I want to show you this again because the Eskimos do everything right. They pull everybody to the right side. Matt comes out here all by themselves, and here's the only guy on the field that is not fooled. Watch the play by little Richie Hall. He just stays home. Look out, Matt. And he makes a pretty good tackle, too, in the open field because Matt tried to duck underneath it.
A loss of 7 on the play. Third down, a little over 10 to go. Dixon into punt once more. Long drive type of kick, forcing Tag Lone back to his 10-yard line. And he is wrapped up and thrown down right at the 20. A 6-yard return after a 62-yard punt. Balkovic in on the tackle. As you look at the Chevrolet first quarter stats, Calgary with 148 yards. And, of course, the one turnover was a costly one as Lumsden fumbled right in the opening moments, and Larry Hogue took it in for the first touchdown of the afternoon.
One other costly play in that first quarter that does not show up in that stat, so is that offside.
Right.
Dan Runge. It cost him 4 points, really.
Yeah. And Peters could have had 3 touchdowns in that first quarter. Right now they have the ball back at their own 20-yard line. Joe Barnes, he's looking down the middle for Danny Barrett. He's got him. He makes a fine catch because Delorier was right there, tried to knock it away from him, but Barrett hangs on for a gain of 22 yards.
I'll tell you, Delorier did everything he could because the receiver stopped in front of him, Danny Barrett, and he tried to strip him of the football after he caught it. What a great young athlete this guy is. A quarterback, as we mentioned last year, has gone out for the wide receiving spot, and one of the most productive receivers the Stamps has had for a long time.
Larry Mason on the draw play. Gets to about the 45 and then pushed back. He has a gain of 4 yards on the play. Barrett, of course, has already completed one pass this afternoon as well as the Stampeders opened up with a bit of a trick play. Another good look at Larry Mason, who's 5'11", 205 pounds. He's out of Troy State, as is wide receiver Rufus Cox of the Stampeders. Barnes. Good first half so far. He's only missed once. Second down and 6. Barnes into the middle. Almost picked off by Stu Hill. Good defense that time by the Eskimos as the Stampeders working on that middle where they've been finding a lot of open territory, but this time Stu Hill was there.
Dale, one thing you notice with both of these ball clubs, because of the changes, they're both playing very basic defenses. You saw the Eskimos almost all the time so far trying to just rush the basic front 4 or 3 people and 1 linebacker. They're not doing a lot of things fancy.
Defensively for the Eskimos, they do have the 3 starting changes today, but everybody that they've added has had CFL experience. JT Hay hangs this one high. Treflin, the 25-yard line. Back to the 20 where he is tripped up immediately by Garrett Dahl. The second time he's made a good downfield tackle on a punt. Well, -5 on the return after a 40-yard kick. 17-1 Stampeders lead. We'll be right back.
Garrett Dahl.
Matt Dunnigan returning now to the offensive huddle after checking at the bench. The Eskimos are 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Really haven't been able to move the ball too successfully here this afternoon against the very aggressive Stampeder defense. And I hearken again to the comments made by Bud Riley. He wants new people in there that are going to fly around, make things happen, and work hard, and who knows.
You think it's about time we see Brian Kelly? He has been nondescript in this ball game.
Have they even gone to him?
I don't think they've even sent it his way.
Dunnigan on first down. Steps up beautifully and has a wide open territory to run in now. Gets a block from Larry Cowan. Picks up a first down as he goes out near the 41-yard line. Dunnigan does that so well, it picks up 21 yards.
Dunnigan had 356 yards coming into today's ball game, running with the football. We've commented on a couple of times, but what a great athlete. And Dale, you know, I don't want to take away anything from some of the great receivers and runners in this league, but if you had to vote for an MVP, not the outstanding player, but MVP, I think Matt Dunnigan might be the #1 choice for me.
And that isn't the first time you said that either. You felt that for a long time.
I think he's a great athlete. He's a winner.
It's tough to argue that for him. I mean, he really is. Dumps it off to Larry Cowan. Lets his running back do some running with it this time, and he takes it into Stampeder territory to about the 53-yard line. Another first down. Ron Hopkins making the tackle. A gain of 16 yards for Cowan.
45 yards already picked up by Cowan. Thomas Culpepper, the rookie middle linebacker, comes back in the ballgame, number 77.
Deep for Brian Kelly. He's in behind the defender, and getting back there to break it up was Larry Hogue. I'm not sure if he even touched the ball, but he was in a position to possibly distract the intended receiver enough for an incompletion.
Dale, I think Fred Worthy, who's playing at the top of your screen, playing in that up stance, he's not used to that. And watch what they do to him. They just knock him right down, give Dunnigan all kinds of time to throw that football, and he almost finds Kelly for a touchdown. And as you can see, Freddie Fleming has him with a nice old shot right behind Larry Hogue. The ball thrown another yard, and that's 6 points for the Eskimos.
Kelly having to hold up a little bit, the all-time leading receiver. First time they've gone to him today. It's 2nd down and 10 from the Calgary 53. Look out. Penalty marker down. Dunnigan has first down yardage as he goes out of bounds just before Darrell Boyer was ready to lay a lick on him at the Stampeder 39-yard line, but they're going to bring it back, holding against the Eskimos.
You know, it's funny, all the coaches you talk to always say, you know, they eliminate penalties, that's one of the things that really kill you and so forth. You know the least penalized team in the Canadian Football League?
Right now?
1 and 6 Calgary Stampeders.
Holding.
They've only had
Edmonton,
44 penalties against them.
2nd down repeated.
You know, gentlemen, Brian Kelly needs no excuses from me, but the sun right now is very difficult for those receivers going in the direction the Eskimos are going, because when you look back for the ball, you're looking right into the sun.
Hecpatier with the holding call puts the ball back at the Eskimo 47-yard line instead of being first down at the Calgary 39. Dunnigan dumps it off to Larry Cowan. Big opening for him. Got a great block upfield. And Cowan has a first down inside the Calgary 40-yard line. Brian Kelly laid a block for him. Culpepper finally got back there to make the tackle on Larry Cowan. A gain of 31 for number 31.
I really think that was middle linebacker Knox Culpepper's man, but the youngster having to play his first game in the Canadian Football League with this wide field and those backs coming out so deep in the backfield in motion, just didn't have time to get out there. Allen was wide open.
He was only in camp 3 days and was activated. He said he's playing today out of fear and pride.
Yeah, I'm sure he thinks they're playing this game the wrong way. The length looks the same as the width of the field.
Milson Jones takes the swing pass from Matt Dunnigan. Dunnigan took a lick just as he let the ball go. Bernie Morrison finally put the stop on Milson Jones. He has a gain of 8 yards down to the Calgary 29.
So you'll see the hit on Matt, who's still bothered slightly by that neck injury on the right-hand side. He took that lick on the left side. We have 9:13 now remaining in the first half. The Eskimos trying to get back into this ball game. They trail 17-1.
And the Eskimos, their best drive of the day. First down, second down rather, and 2 yards to go. Neil Lumsden. And he is pulled back by Ken Miller, the defensive halfback. He looks like he's got a first down near the 26-yard line. He does. 10-year veteran of the University of Ottawa, Neil Lumsden.
Watch Ken Miller, 21, who knocked the ball out of Lumsden's hands on the third offensive play of this football game for the Eskimos and created a touchdown for Larry Hogan. Got in on the action again, but it's a first down for the Eskimos just outside the 25-yard line.
Initially, that wasn't a bad block by Chris Woods on Miller. Wasn't right off the line. Dunnigan to Chris Woods, and it was all he could do to hang on to it. He didn't even hang on to it. Incomplete pass. Took his eyes off it momentarily.
It would have made no difference. It would have been a statistical addition, but that's all.
There's a few red jerseys over there, wasn't there? Matt checking the plays that he has taped to his wrist. What do we do now in this situation? Second down, 10 from the Calgary 26-yard line.
Well, you might see him take off if he gets an inch and a half.
That's a pretty good bet. Looking for Chris Woods. He's got him right in front of the defender, Ron Hopkins. They'll spot it at the 11. First down, Eskimos. The pickup, 15 yards.
Good throw.
I like Chris Woods' average. 29 yards per catch.
Unbelievable. You know, he's caught 18, as you can see there. Brian Kelly coming in today had caught 29, and their yardage is almost exactly the same. And Brian doesn't catch all short ones, you know.
Top of Dunnigan's jersey right around the neck. Torn somewhat. The front four of the Stampeders been after him pretty good. Here's Milson Jones. Touchdown, Edmonton. Great call on first down from the 11-yard line. Jones goes untouched into the end zone. The first major of the afternoon for the Eskimos. And for Milson Jones, his third rushing touchdown of the season. What an opening.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there was absolutely nothing tricky about this. There's just a huge gap between the defensive linemen. Rod Knupp turns his man to the inside. Heck Portier turns him to the outside, and he just slips up in here, and it's a touchdown. Absolutely nothing fancy about that. He just took him over.
And a convert by Tom Dixon, and now it's a 17-8 ball game in favor of the Calgary Stampeders after the touchdown by Jones. 7:13 left, second quarter. We'll be right back. Score and the time remaining here in the second quarter. Good football game. They usually are Labor Day afternoon in Calgary. Another look at Milson Jones, and nobody got within 5 yards of him.
Good, straight ahead blocking.
Tom Dixon's all set to kick it off with 7:13 left in the second quarter. He puts it deep. Cox at the goal line. Leo Blanchard runs right into Cox and knocks him flat at the 22-yard line. A 65-yard kickoff and a return of 22.
You know, you folks at home would think that Freddie Fleming, our ISO director, has maybe 15 or 20 cameras. Believe me, he does not. He has one or two. Well, watch him. He picks up Leo Blanchard right by himself. See number 59 right in the middle of your screen? And watch this.
Boom.
That will be no further, Mr. Cox.
Blanchard shaken up a little bit. Penalty marker is down as Barnes is back to pass. Another penalty marker down. He dumps it off to the fullback, Greg Feger, number 7. And he takes it to the 25-yard line. The game would only be 4 yards. James Zachary in on the tackle, but we have a couple of flags down. We'll get that sorted out.
Be holding against the Stampeders, I'm sure, Dale.
There it is. Offside Eskimos. We just want to update you on our last CTV opinion poll. Should the CFL increase the number of team timeouts in the last 3 minutes of each half? You see the result of that. Fans do not want to see any more timeouts in CFL games than they already have. And today's question, should the league increase the number of players allowed to dress from its present level of 34? Of course, the active roster is 34. Should there be more? The phone numbers to call if you think they should, and if you think they should leave them the way they are. Your vote would be no, and the number to call as well, 50-cent service charge per call.
All the coaches vote yes.
Isn't that the truth? First down over again, 15 yards to go. Looking for Danny Barrett. Throws it a little too high.
Had Barrett open. Dale, the Grey Cup, or I should say the Labor Day games between these two teams are always pretty exciting, aren't they?
They are. Last year, the Eskimos won 30-28. In 83, Calgary won 18-15. In 82, Calgary won 32-20. 81, they didn't play each other Labor Day weekend. 1980, Edmonton won 38-23. They've had some great Labor Day matchups between these two clubs. All of them played here in Calgary. Second down and 15 for the Stampeders. The ball at their own 16-yard line. Barnes looking for Emmanuel Tolbert. And he threw that to the outside, and Tolbert was coming inside. So that'll bring on the Stampeder punting unit. Barnes will head to the bench. Following today's game, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, makers of the new 8mm Kodavision video systems featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. J.T. Hay to punt. Eskimos will rush 11 men. Jeff Treflin, the only man back. And now the Eskimos peel back for blocking. Good kick by Hay. Treflin near his own 45-yard line. And Mark Nelson, the only man who didn't have a block thrown his way, and he makes the tackle on the Eskimo return man. 17-8 Stampeders leading. We'll be back in just a moment. Jones to close the gap to 17-8. The time remaining, 5 minutes, 50 seconds, second quarter. I think Al has some information for us.
Yes, Dale. As you can see, trainer Ken Lowe and Dr. Dick Cherry working on offensive guard Leo Blanchard. He jammed his shoulder and has numbness in his arm. They're working on. He had some pain, but the numbness is apparently leaving. And the coach was saying that hopefully they'll have him back in the not-too-distant future. They need this guy.
Did that happen on that tackle he made?
It happened on the hit downfield that you, Freddie, had.
Not unusual, Al, because with a hit like that, you can sometimes pinch a nerve. It's very, very painful.
This is first down for the Eskimos near midfield. Chris Woods takes the pass from Dunnigan, and right there immediately was Richie Hall, and he had help. And the gain is 5 yards to the Calgary 51-yard line.
Well, they were looking for that, weren't they? 5 of them out there. You got to get on Woods pretty quick. He'll be long gone.
Don't give him an opening.
I asked Jack about whether or not he is the fastest man on the team. And, of course, they don't run these people 100 yards, and time them or anything. But he says, I would think he probably is.
I think there's too many in the league that are any faster than Woods. 2nd and 5. Dunnigan takes off. And he has got a first down just as he's inside the Calgary 45-yard line. Worthy, I think, tripped him slightly, chasing him from behind, but not enough to bring him down. 1st and 10 Eskimos.
Well, I'll tell you, they come with the blitz. Watch Mark Nelson, number 82, come up and over here in the middle. Good block by Cowan, knocks him down, and Again, they do not keep the containment. Fred Worthy at the top, number 67, allowed Dunnigan to get to the outside, and he'll do that to you all day.
First and 10 Eskimos at the Calgary 44. Right up the middle goes Milson Jones. This time they're there defensively. Culpepper, the new middle linebacker, in on the tackle at the 41, a gain of 3 yards, second and 7.
This is just classic, the linebacker having to take on the offensive center, and Blake Dermott comes out, and he goes down low on Culpepper. Culpepper does get knocked down, but manages to keep his feet long enough to get a piece of the tackle.
And, of course, there is a change on the offensive line for the Eskimos. Chapman is in there at center, number 55. Dermott has moved to right guard, replacing the injured Leo Blanchard. Second down and 7.
Time again.
Wide open Milson Jones. The defenders had moved up because of Dunnigan's presence of running, and he dumps it off to Jones. The tackle made by Culpepper. First down, gain of 24 yards.
Oh, boy. You don't let Matt run around back there. You got to bring some people, keep him inside. Even if he doesn't take off with it, he can throw that football as well as anybody on the run. Milson Jones for 24 yards. All of a sudden, the Calgary Stampeders were dominating this ball game. Edmonton right back in at first down at the 17-yard line. Quick shot.
Looking for Rick House at the 5-yard line. Threw that one behind him. It'll be second down and 10. We have 3:14 remaining in the second quarter.
House is another guy we haven't heard from. Rick House, a veteran slot back, of course, from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over to the Eskimos. But he and Brian Kelly neither have caught a pass here this afternoon, and we have only 3 minutes left in the first half of this ball game. That is a very unusual set of circumstances for the Eskimos.
Could be looking for Kelly this time. It's second down and 10 from the 17-yard line. Looking for Woods again. He well overthrew him that time. So that'll bring up third down for the Eskimos and a timeout with the score. Calgary 17, Edmonton 8. We'll be back in just a moment. Minutes remaining in the second quarter. The Eskimos looking at third and 10 from the Calgary 17-yard line. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a close-up look at Eskimo kicker Tom Dixon. We'll have highlights from yesterday's game in Regina and Friday's game in Ottawa. Here's the 24-yard field goal by Tom Dixon. It is good. It is now a 17-11 ball game in favor of the Stampeders. And also at halftime, I'll look back at the highlights of this first half of play.
And Dale, also at the top of the halftime, I'll be talking with a guy that the Eskimos wish they had in there, veteran defensive corner Joe Holloman, who is here. He, of course, getting over a knee injury. One of the long-term Eskimos who went through the glory days.
We were just talking here before the game. As you take another look at the halftime lineup, only Tom Tuine, I think, is the only guy that is in the lineup today defensively that was there 3 years ago. It's a big turnaround. Mason is stopped at about the 42-yard line. As you mentioned, too, that Dan Kearns is also there, but not as a starter. Derry Thompson making the tackle, one of the Eskimo newcomers today. They'll spot the ball at about the 42.5-yard line, so it's a gain of 7.5 yards. Mason has now carried 5 times for 19 yards. Nobody else has carried the ball from scrimmage for the Stampeders today. Second down and less than 3 to go. Looking for Tolbert. Pass was a quick one, and Tolbert unable to handle it. It'll bring up third down, and the Stampeder punting unit comes back on.
Yeah, you know, the way Joe came out there that time, looked like he wanted to run with the football, and Joe has not been known for his running ability, but I was down in Texas about 4 or 5 weeks ago, talked to a couple of his friends. He's from Big Lake, Texas, and one of the guys was telling me that he was a heck of a quarter-miler when he was in high school. I asked him if he ran any other of the sprint events. He said, yeah, I ran the 100-yard dash. I said, what'd you run it in? He said, 10-1. I said, well, what are you running in now? Those shorts and the running shoes.
In about a week.
they don't take his time now.
Jeff Treplin on the return, spends it at the first tackle. He's at the 30 to 31-yard line, and that's where the Stampeders or the Eskimos rather, will take over 1st and 10, a return of 7. One more game tonight in the CFL to complete the Labor Day weekend action, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats will host the Montreal Concords. 7 o'clock start at Ivor Wynne Stadium, and of course they do have a win over Montreal earlier this season. And we'll take a look at the Eastern Division standings of the Canadian Football League. Concord on top, followed by Ottawa, Toronto, and Hamilton looking for their 2nd win of the season tonight. Back to the live action here in Calgary. Dunnigan stands in there and then waits for Cowan to work open, and he's hit immediately, but hangs onto the football. Again, it's Richie Hall defensively. A pickup of about 5 yards on the play to the Eskimo 35.
Well, you know what Richie Hall does so very, very well. He sits back there and he waits, but once he makes that decision, he has just got great acceleration to get to the ball. You saw him on that reverse, get Dunnigan in the open field. What a great little addition he was to the Stampeders just 3 years ago.
The Eskimos have been moving the ball here in the 2nd quarter. Larry Cowan will be stopped short of the 1st down. Well short. And so the Eskimo punting unit will now come on.
There isn't any question the Eskimos will miss the veteran Leo Blanchard, their great veteran offensive right guard, number 59. We don't know yet whether or not he will return to this ball game. A pinched nerve on a great hit.
Frank,
on a punt.
Excuse me, Frank, I just talked to him briefly. He thinks he's coming back, and as Dr. Cherry told me, he said, we'll have trouble keeping Leo out if he wants back.
Yeah, Leo gets most things he wants to, I would think.
The punt by Dixon. Tag room. Near his 15-yard line. Boom. Steve Howlett, activated for only the 2nd game this season, was in on the tackle for the Eskimos. A 56-yard punt and a return of 10.
He's a great little athlete, Tag Rom. He almost stuck with the Eskimos, but the Stampeders certainly were glad to be able to get him.
Okay, the Stampeders with the ball back. Tag Rome out of Northeast Louisiana played against Matt Dunnigan in college. Dunnigan, of course, from Louisiana Tech. Joe Barnes completed his first 4 passes of the ball game. He's now been incomplete his last 4 passes. 1st and 10 Stampeders from their own 27. Completes this one. Danny Barrett, good runner out across the 50-yard line to about the 52. Delorier and Jackson hold the gain to 25.
Bill, I think I can show you why that play went. It had nothing to do with the backfield. Watch the offensive line. They come out and they pull a lineman, I believe it's the right offensive guard, to the left side, trying to get the influence of those linebackers to that side. You see Kersinger right there, and Danny Barnett was just wide open on the right side, and he can run with the football.
1st down, Stampeders.
Good influence pull by the offensive line.
1:02 left. John Mander is the injured Eskimo, down on one knee. A 25-yard gain that time by Danny Barrett for the 1st down. Mandarich heads to the bench now, and he'll be replaced by Dan Kearns.
Not Halloween yet. Closing in on it, but 1 minute remains now. As you can see in this 1st half.
Barnes down the middle. Tolbert had a step on Cliff Toney, but the ball was just overthrown. .48 seconds left in the 1st half as Tolbert makes his way back to the offensive huddle. 2nd down and 10 now for Calgary. The middle is open for Joe Barnes. Gary Thompson makes the tackle, but not before he picks up another Stampeder 1st down, a pickup of 13 yards.
Well, just after we talked about old Big Lake, Texas quarterback, he does take off the football and does a good job. Hurry up offense now as they have just 38 seconds remaining in this first half. First down at the 45.
Wide open as Greg Figure makes a nice catch, and he has another first down inside the 35-yard line to about the 33. With Tony making the tackle.
Dale, that really was a fine catch because Figure actually looked like he stumbled just a bit. The ball was thrown to his inside, and he made the adjustment. 25 seconds now.
Barnes quickly looking for tag Rome. He just couldn't get to it. The defender was with him all the way, Mark Jackson.
Looking for an interference call. Love it.
And now we have James Zachary down on one knee.
I think the Eskimos might just be trying to slow this offense down a little bit. 16 seconds, so they really only have one more play to get it in the end zone or very close to the end zone.
It's all Stampeders first quarter, and the Eskimos have been chipping away at what was a 17-1 lead. Tim Petros into the offensive backfield now in place of Figure. Penalty marker down, procedure call against the Stamps. Danny Barrett unable to hang on at the 10-yard line, and there is a second penalty marker down. Holding is also the indication against Calgary. We have 11 seconds left on the clock.
Well, they might have to try one more offensive play to get into field goal range now after these two penalties. 11 seconds remain. It's a 17-11 ball game. Let's listen.
Holding. Calgary, number 51. Declined. Third down.
Randy Ambrosi, number 51, the right tackle. So that'll bring up third down, and the field goal unit will come in. And J.T. Hayes' longest this year is 44 yards, and this will be a 41-yard attempt.
I don't know, Dale, if he'd taken that holding call and they set him down on that second down, he'd have had to kick it from over 50 yards.
That's right. J.T. Hay looking to give the Stampeders a 9-point lead late in the second quarter. The hold by Johnson. The kick is long enough. It is good. It is now Calgary 20 and Edmonton 11 with 6 seconds remaining in the first half.
J.T. made no mistake about that one. He blew it into the end zone. Against what breeze there is, but as we mentioned, not a big factor in this ball game.
J.T. Hay doesn't have the best punting average in the league, and maybe somewhat lack in his field goals in total so far this year, but he says he enjoys handling both duties for the Stampeders because it keeps him in the football game a lot more than just waiting around to try three-pointers and converts all the time.
Yeah, it was interesting, and when he said that, he said it takes some of the tension of the field goal kicking away because he is much more involved in the ball game, and I can see that from a mental point of view.
Stampeder head coach Bud Riley. He's been around this league a long time, and Pat Dunnigan is just going to ground the football. He'll have to do it one more time before the first half is over. Seems like Bud always pops up when there's a coaching change in this league, doesn't he?
Well, I talked to him. I said, oh, you had to get back in the saddle again. He says, yeah, you can't get it out of your blood.
Dunnigan will ground it one more time. That'll do it for the first half, and an entertaining first half here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. And Stampeders have a lead of 20-11. Let's go to Al McCann.
Well, thank you, Dale. The Eskimo defense has had some problems for the last little while, but I'll tell you, they're really missing the guy I've got here, and I'm sure all across Canada everybody recognizes Joe Holloman, longtime defensive corner for the Eskimos, number 29. Joe, first off, about you personally, you're on the 60-day injured list with that bad knee. How's it coming? When do you come off, and how do you feel about it?
Well, we'll start the last one first. Right now I feel pretty good with the knee, and I've been doing some physiotherapy work with Ken Lowe, and the knee feels pretty good. I still got some swelling in it. I was out jogging last week, and I'm starting, the rehabilitation work on it now. I'm supposed to come off the injury list. I think it's September 29th, and I with a little bit of luck and a lot of help from the Lord, I'll probably be able to go by the 5th of October. I think we're playing against the BC Lions, and I'm not sure, but I should be able to go then.
Well, it was a tough injury for many reasons, Joe. One thing is you got off to such a great start this year, you personally, I thought.
Well, I thought I was doing pretty well, Al, and with Coach Southern, and he had nothing but praise for the way I was playing, and you know, it helped in the secondary because I was there as one of the veterans on the club and helping out with the other guys in the secondary. And, you know, we were doing some things and things were coming together. And, you know, every once in a while now they look like they're going to fall apart. But, you know, with the help of Coach Southern and with myself, you know, I think that the guys that are in there right now, I think they'll be able to hold together a little while longer until I can get back.
Well, I saw you working with Gary Thompson, giving him some expertise. They're trying to get back in this ballgame. I think it's going to be a heck of a second half.
Well, I hope it is on our part.
Okay, Joe. Good luck. I hope you're back in September.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, we've got a 20-11 ball game going here in Calgary. The CFL on CTV continues with halftime in a moment.
This is Carling O'Keefe Sports, the CFL this week. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the holiday edition of the CFL this week. 2 games to check out. Yesterday, the Blue Bombers were in Regina, while on Friday, those hungry Lions were in Ottawa. This was a game the underdog Riders might have won, but they fell just short. The Lions building an early lead on a pair of touchdowns, Roy DeWalt to Jim Sandusky. This is a 50-yard score just 4 minutes into the ball game, 7-0 BC. Now, 4 minutes later from the Ottawa 15, they hook up again. The Lions hang on to win by 5 points. In Regina yesterday, fans there were celebrating the 75th anniversary of organized football with Joe Pow Pow not in uniform. It is 4-0 Winnipeg when Tom Clements is intercepted by rookie cornerback Bruce Miller. This is in the second quarter and would lead to a Saskatchewan touchdown. Less than a minute 15 left in the half. Craig Ellis goes 1 yard to put the Riders up 7-4. But it was to be a very short-lived lead. Just 2 plays later, the Bombers are on their own 5, and Clements finds Jeff Boyd down the sideline. He slips the tackle. He will not be caught. Boyd off on a 105-yard sprint for a touchdown. That gave the defending champions a lead they would never give up. The Bombers are now 6-2, still just 1 win away from first place BC in the West. They beat Saskatchewan 18-10. Coming up in the Canadian Football League, the CTV Friday nighter next week, the Argonauts in BC Place. On Saturday, also on this network, the Blue Bombers back in action in Ottawa. 2 games Sunday, Saskatchewan is at Montreal, and also on CTV, Hamilton at Edmonton. This has been Carling O'Keefe Sports, the CFL this week. We'll be back with a profile of Tom Dixon. The CFL on CTV will continue in a moment. Check it out in Toronto's Exhibition Stadium. Don't miss it, live on CTV.
It's halftime, McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The sun's certainly shining on the home team this afternoon, and it's a pretty good way for the home team to start things off, Frank, with the defense scoring the touchdown of the ball game, and the offense is up 7-0 before they even get their hands on the ball.
It's been a very, very entertaining first 30 minutes, and from the hometowners, as you say, it started out extremely well. A first down for the Edmonton Eskimos, but then, as they attempted to make a second one, watch what happened. This is Neil Lumsden.
On the pass from Matt Dunnigan, and the hit beautifully timed and beautifully placed by the newcomer Ken Miller, playing his first ball game for the Stampeders. Knocks it loose, and Hogue is there to pick it up and take it into the end zone. And quickly, Stampeders were out in front 7-0 over the Edmonton Eskimos in the first quarter.
Another beautiful drive by the Stampeders, and Tag Rome caught a 22-yarder as Joe had rolled to his left. Barnes throws a perfect strike, and the Stampeders had a first down at the 3-yard line. Looked like they might start putting this one right out of reach very early, but the Eskimo defense held, and Calgary had to settle for a 3-pointer.
But Barnes was finding some open receivers down the middle, and here's one of those big plays, 66 yards to Emmanuel Tolbert, celebrating his 27th birthday today. Delorier makes the stop inside the 5, and Calgary led 17-1 at the end of the first quarter.
You know, Dale, we always show great offensive plays, but let's show a great defensive one for a change. Just an excellent fake by Matt Dunnigan as he was faking to Rick House around the right side. But Richie Hall not fooled at all. The only defender anywhere that could have stopped Dunnigan, and he did so for about a 5-yard loss. Great defensive play.
And, of course, the Eskimos did get rolling in that second quarter a little bit, and this is a fine call from 11 yards out. Milson Jones untouched into the end zone. And then the Stampeders finally got some things going their way as well. The big play to Danny Barrett.
Great fake by Joe Barnes. It looked like everything was going left. Danny Barrett picked up 25 yards on the play. It actually put them in a position where they could get a field goal, and the Stampeders lead 20-11. Let's get back to the second half.
And this is Tag Rome on the kickoff return, and he is forced out of bounds at the Calgary 37-yard line as we're just underway here in the third quarter at McMahon Stadium. And the Chevrolet halftime stats, 230 yards total offense for the Stamps and 196 for the Eskimos, and most of that for Edmonton coming in the second quarter. The one turnover is a big one in this ball game, and of course that was the fumble recovery by Larry Hogue, who took it into the end zone for the opening touchdown of this football game. And right now it's Calgary, 1st and 10, the ball at the Stampeder 37-yard line. Been a good football game so far. Here's Barnes looking for Greg Feger, 40-yard line. He's got him, and Feger wrapped up immediately. John Daly is there, along with Mark Jackson and Cliff Tony. And the gain was about 3 yards.
Well, weather conditions have just been improving all the time. Al, that wind that we had about a half an hour or so before the ball game is almost completely gone, is it not?
Frank, in fact, with the wind is non-existent. It's an absolutely perfect day now.
It'd be 76.
Second down and 7 for the Stampeders. The ball at their 40. Little play-action fake by Barnes to the newcomer Mason. Throwing for Tag Rome, incomplete. Good defense that time by Mark Jackson. He was right with the receiver, and he didn't get a chance to grab a hold of that ball firmly, and so it'll bring on the punting unit. After a shaky start, the Eskimo defense has settled down as well.
Well, I think they got a big shot in the arm when they only gave up a field goal from a first down at their own 3-yard line early in the ball game.
Good news for the offense, too, Frank and Dale, in that Leo Blanchard is back and tells me he will play.
And that Eskimo offense should be on the field momentarily as J.T. Hay punts it away. Good kick. Jeff Treflin, the lone return man, inside his own 20-yard line. And is caught by Garrett Dahl, number 40, and that's about the third time this afternoon. Dahl has been the first man downfield to make the tackle on the return man. And 51-yard punt, return of 4, and Friday Night Football returns, and we'll be at BC Place in Vancouver as the Lions get set to host the Toronto Argonauts. And you know, the Argos didn't have a great first half of '85, but if there's one stadium that the Argos play well in, it's BC Place, and that should be a dandy football game this Friday night. And we'll have it for you on the full CTV network starting 10 o'clock Eastern time. First down Eskimos, the ball at their own 23, their first possession of the third quarter. Dunnigan just dumps it off. Larry Cowan, the intended receiver. The ball seemed to change direction on him a little bit. I'm not sure if it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It's second down and 10 nonetheless.
Good protection once again. And Ken Miller, the number 21 there, better be careful. That looked very close to a spearing attempt. Cowan was going down.
Second down and 10. Cowan and Wilson Jones, the running backs. Troutman misses Dunnigan. Complete to Wilson Jones, hit immediately and dropped by Ken Miller at about the 28-yard line. Will be short of the first down. The Eskimos will have to punt.
Good defensive stunt as the Calgary Stampeders once again playing it very straight in terms of bringing only 4 people. This time Troutman, the first fella coming in there, gets good penetration on the play. Dunnigan, of course, so adroit in getting away from people. Troutman, 62, got in there pretty quickly.
Nifty little move by Dunnigan, and Troutman went right by him, but they didn't pick up the first down. So there's another look at Dixon, who's having a good afternoon punting that football. Another good kick. Cox from his own 28. Gets around Balkovic and then is cut down at the 40-yard line by Steve Howlett. The score is Calgary 20 and Edmonton 11. And we'll be back with more third quarter action in just a moment.
They give the numbers?
We're just 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. Ralph the Dog, the Stampeder mascot, pretty happy that the hometown team has a 9-point lead. And once again, our poll on today's game is concerning the active roster of 34 players in the CFL. And should that be increased? If you say yes, the number to call, 720-3720. If you think no, 720-4720 and a 50-cent charge per call. Right now it's the Stampeders first and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Joe Barnes going down the middle again, and it overthrows Emmanuel Tolbert. And I think, though that play was open early in the ball game, Barnes has had trouble getting back to it. He's had a couple of open receivers, but he's missed them.
Dale, though, that was man-to-man coverage. As you saw, the linebackers coming in, blitzing on the play. It was far different. You'll see Tony going there with man-to-man. Before it was a zone, and the defensive 3 deep backs had really dropped back. That's why Tolbert was open.
Barnes, 50% of his passes this afternoon, closing in on 200 yards. Second down and 10. Gets outside of Jack Williams, throws. Picked off, I think, by Gary Thompson. Yes, the newcomer in the Eskimo defensive backfield. Gary Thompson, number 19, gives the ball to the Eskimos as he picks off Joe Barnes at the Calgary 54.
Dale, this is a football that should never have been thrown. Watch how good a coverage he had on it. He's just right there. There's no way that Barrett could have been able to receive that football, and Joe has thrown quite a few interceptions this year.
Thompson went to Edmonton on a tryout in '82 and was at the Eskimo training camp in '83 and played a couple of preseason games. We'll get back to Gary Thompson in a moment. Dunnigan throwing, and Brian Kelly makes the catch this afternoon. I believe that is the first catch of the afternoon for the Eskimos' all-time leading receiver, Larry Hogue, the defender, and makes the stop at the Calgary 32.
And watch how far he comes back to make this catch. After driving the defensive back as far back as he could, he comes back about 5 yards, and not much you can do about it if it's timed properly. 11:22 remaining in the third quarter now. We're just into the second half, and the Eskimos trying to tie this ball game up. They trail 20-11.
First and 10 from the Calgary 32. Sprint draw to Larry Cowan. Culpepper was there first, slowed him up, and I think it was James Walker that finished him off. It would be a gain of 1 on the play to the 31-yard line. Culpepper shows some pretty good range. I was talking with the Stampeders backup center, Kerry Berryman, who's activated for this game, and he said Culpepper is really a tough man to block. He's 6 foot, about 218, and he gives you not very much to hit as a center, trying to make a block on him.
Well, he's typical of linebackers who can play in this league that don't play down south. He's not really big enough to be an NFL middle linebacker, but he can cover a lot of ground, and that's what you need here.
Almost intercepted by Hopkins. A little miscommunication there between Woods and Dunnigan.
Ball thrown right to Ron Hopkins, number 15, who has had 2 interceptions this year.
Woods looked over his right shoulder, and the ball went over his left shoulder.
Oh, that's a tough break to the Stampeders because he hit him right in the hand.
So it's third down and 9 from the 31-yard line, and Tom Dixon will be trying a 38-yard field goal. Moyer is the only man back in the end zone for the Stampeders. The hold by Matt Dunnigan. Kick is up. It is... I'm not sure. I have not got an indication. Is it wide or is it good? Now Dixon is infuriated that they... Now there's none of the officials have... Now they finally indicated that it's a single point. Okay, we'll have to come back to it. It's, as it stands now, it would be a single point, and it's 21-11 for the Stampeders. 21 to 12, or 20 to 12. I'm sorry. We'll get this straightened out. We'll be back in just a moment.
Well, if you thought we were confused right before the commercial, take a look. Pretty tough to see from that angle because the ball is going to be coming down here, and it appeared to just miss the goalpost, but Frank, not if you're an Eskimo fan.
Frank, if I might interject from the Eskimo bench here, they're talking about the ball being right through the middle. They claim that the official said he didn't see it.
Uh-oh.
So that's why they're so hot.
Oh, the Eskimos have got the ball, I think. So the Eskimos only got a single point on that last field goal attempt, but they do have the ball right back, and it's James Zachary, number 92, with it.
Danny Barrett, who tries to take off with the football. It looked like Tuine, was it not, that stripped him with the football? Tom Tuine, number 90.
Got a hand in there, knocked it loose. Zachary was there, and the Eskimos now are first and 10 at the Stampeder 28-yard line. Their second turnover in the last few moments. First of all, an interception by Thompson. Now the fumble recovery by James Zachary. 9.5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Halfback blitz, and again, we have Dunnigan misfiring with an intended receiver, Marco Sincar. Penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Matt had to get rid of that football. Little Richie Hall coming from the top, and you'll see Richie on the blitzer come in absolutely untouched, so Matt had to throw the football when he did. However, another penalty against the Calgary Stampeders as they are doing their best
Offside.
to self-destruct.
Calgary,
here.
first down repeated.
First half of the third quarter, 2 turnovers and a critical penalty, all in the first 5 minutes.
First quarter, the Stampeders look so good, but all they've managed since the first quarter is a field goal. They had a 17-1 lead. It's now 20-12. First and 5, Eskimos. The give is to Cowan. Good bit of running by Larry Cowan. He's got a first down for Edmonton inside the 15-yard line. James Walker in on the tackle.
Watch Walker to your left side, fights off 2 or 3 blocks and barely gets a piece of him. Marco Sincar with a good block downfield.
First down, 14-yard line. Again, the draw play to Larry Cowan. Larry Cowan is to the 1-yard line. Darryl Moyer in on the tackle for the Stampeders. Another good call by the Eskimos. Getting in close, and they run it. Milson Jones had one for 11 yards for touchdown, and Cowan almost put that one in from the 14.
We talked about Sincar a little earlier. He gets another block just to the right of your screen there on Richie Hall, 27, hitting number 27. Now it's Cowan to go down to the 1-yard line. We're going to have a great football game, Bill.
That's for sure. And had that field goal attempt by Dixon been good, Eskimos in position to go ahead. And right now they're down by 8. Dunnigan keeps himself. Did he get in? I don't think so. There's no indication from the officials. He got close to the goal line, but not enough. Dunnigan thinks he was in, but they'll try it again. It'll be second and goal from the 1.
That'll give you a good idea of the body mass involved down there. Kearns coming in there as the tight end on those short yardage plays. Paul Dero, the offensive line coach, talking to Jack Parker.
Get back into the box here, guys.
Okay, it's second and goal now from the 1. Dunnigan himself in behind Blake Dermott and Leo Blanchard. Touchdown Eskimos. Now, you want to tie it up by going for 2.
Absolutely.
Okay. Figured that's what you'd say.
Well, why not? Why do you want to trail by 1? You might as well trail by 2. It's less than a field goal. Well, here comes Dixon.
Dixon's out there.
That's why I don't get too much for coaching. I really don't agree.
Well, you never know. I mean, Dunnigan's in there. He's going to do the holding. He might decide to go for 2 himself anyway.
Yeah, but I'd rather set up an offensive formation and go for it from 5 yards.
Right now, it's 20-18 for the Stampeders. The Eskimos will settle for the 1-point conversion and will trail by 1. 20-19, and we have 7:14 left third quarter, and we'll be back to McMahon Stadium in just a moment. Following the fumble recovery by James Zachary, Matt Dunnigan takes the Eskimos 28 yards in 4 plays and puts it in the end zone himself. His 6th rushing touchdown of the season, and it's now just a 1-point ball game. Calgary 20, Edmonton 19, and we have 7:14 left in the third quarter. 18,253 in attendance at McMahon Stadium today, the biggest crowd of the season for the Stampeders. And the kickoff from Tom Dixon. Tag Rome, 12-yard line. Rome is out across the 30 to about the 32. Dan Kearns in on the tackle, along with Frank Falkovec. A 20-yard return by Rome and a 53-yard kickoff. And he'll stay out there as a wide receiver now as the Stampeders go on offense. Rome and Rufus Cox are the wideouts for Calgary, 23 and 3 respectively. Rome, of course, a one-time member of the Eskimos. First and 10, Calgary, 32-yard line. Larry Mason showing a little bit of hesitation. He's across the line of scrimmage, and then when he finally did turn upfield, He was met by James Zachary, number 92, and he put him down quickly at the 35, and it's a gain of 3 yards.
Well, I don't know if they'll be really pleased with the way he ran that football, Dale. You want to get up in the hole and try to go upfield. That spinning, I think you can save if you're out in the open field to try to beat somebody.
Certain amount of uncertainty with Mason, of course, in his very first ball game, and only been in the Calgary camp a little over a week. 2nd down and 7. Barnes wide open. Danny Barrett, he's got him, and forced out of bounds by Gary Thompson out at the 52-yard line. A pickup of 16 yards for the Stampeders.
Good catch by Barrett as he is signaled to come out of the football game here for one play. There may be an equipment problem. Big Dan runs, number 31 coming back in. Watch this catch. Goes up in the air for it, making sure he's got the football, and he gets the first down to the 51.
All right.
Barnes going deep for Tagro. Great catch at the 20-yard line. Unbelievable catch by Tagro. Delorier was coming over there from the safety spot with a beat on the ball, but Rome makes the catch for 39 yards.
Well, the Eskimos would tell you early in the preseason that this guy really had a lot of athletic ability, and he showed it there. Delorier actually got his legs across Tagrome's, or he could have got up and run with the football. Excellent catch and a good throw by Joe Barnes. First down, 20-yard line.
Good blocking for Joe Barnes. Dan Rudge was open, and he couldn't quite squeeze it. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Rufus Cox was deep near the goal line when the ball was thrown.
Rudge has not had a great debut as a Stampeder, being offside early in the ball game, which cost a touchdown. And watch this one.
I wonder if Barnes was looking past Rudge and more at Cox at the goal line.
I don't know, but he hit him right in the numbers.
Well, they made him stretch quite a bit for the football. Should have had it anyway. 2nd down and 10. 5 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Stampeders at the Eskimo 20-yard line. Barnes gets outside containment again, looking for Feger. It's picked off by John Daly at the 15-yard line. A big turnover now in favor of the Eskimos.
Their 3rd of this quarter. Their 3rd, as a matter of fact, Dylan, in the last 10 minutes. Calgary coughing up the football. Once again, good coverage by the Eskimos. This time, Daly, the linebacker, on Greg Feger. And the ball slightly thrown behind. Fine catch by Daly as he turns it over at their own 18-yard line.
I believe that's the first interception of the season for John Daly, and it's a big one. First down, Eskimos. They snuff out a Stampeder scoring threat. Dunnigan goes to Brian Kelly. Out to the 30-yard line and a first down. Miller was there along with Larry Holt to force Brian Kelly out of bounds. A pickup of 12 yards. Brian Kelly, the Eskimos' all-time leading receiver. Set that record, club record, last week.
You know, the Eskimos only had 6 interceptions coming into this ball game, the worst in the CFL, but now they're turning it over.
Oh, going deep for Chris Woods, the speedster, and he just couldn't get in behind Hopkins. The ball is a little long.
Oh, that was an excellent throw by Dunnigan. That was only a foot or so from being completed. 4 minutes remain now in the 3rd quarter. 2019, the hometown Stamp lead.
It's been an uphill battle all the way this afternoon for the Eskimos. They quickly got behind 7-0 as the Calgary defense scored a touchdown. Fumble recovery by Larry Holt. Calgary built up a 17-1 first quarter lead. And now, with just under 4 minutes left, 3rd quarter, it's Calgary 20, Edmonton 19. Your usual Labor Day excitement at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Dunnigan on 2nd and 10. On his own, he'll be stopped short of the first down by a yard or two.
Remember, we showed you that stunt a little earlier that the Calgary Stampeders were trying defensively. They come with it once again, but the problem is when you do these kind of stunts, you still must keep your lane against a quarterback that can take off like Dunnigan. Watch what a huge hole is created because Troutman doesn't get far enough over to the left side. And there's about 5 yards in there that Dunnigan can take off on. He picks up about 9, but the Eskimos, I believe the Eskimos are going to gamble.
They sure are. Third
and
down.
1. All right.
A little over 1 yard to go.
Very close in first downs, obviously, so far.
Very close ball game. 1 point separating these two. The give is to Lumsden. I don't know if he made it. It depends where he made this, gets the spot.
He did not make it. He did not make it.
This could be a critical turnover if the Eskimos didn't make it here. They're at their own 40-yard line. It was
Freddie
third, a little
Fleming
better than
tells us
1.
it's number 77, Knox Culpepper, playing his first game. Watch him at the right of your screen. You're absolutely right, Freddie. He stops him about a foot short, or it would appear to be about a foot short.
Remember, it's on
Or
any
less.
part of the ball.
Or less.
The nose of the ball looks just shy of the 40-yard stripe, and everybody's crowded in there. It is a big defensive play by the Stampeders, and they turn the ball over at the Eskimo 40-yard line.
Well, there's the gentleman that did it. Knox Culpepper, the 6-foot, 220-pounder. We've talked about having great range. Boy, he did an excellent job of stopping Lumsden right at the first down marker. Actually, Lumsden's bigger than he is.
Stampeders with the ball at the Eskimo 40. Into the middle to Danny Barrett. He hangs on. He was banged around in there by a couple of guys, Thompson and McNeil, but he hung on. Looks like he's got a first down.
Well, you can't ask the defense to do any more than that on that kind of pattern. You can't knock that down every time, but you can knock the receiver around. Just to hold on to that ball was amazing.
Danny Barrett's had a good afternoon.
Watch it once again. Just a quick look-in type of pass. Bang! Put him down. They're measuring for that first down. McNeil, 37, the linebacker on the play, giving him a good shot.
Just shy of the first down.
I think Calgary would prefer that. They get an extra play here. They might waste one right here. Oh, a very close game offensively after a big lead in that department by the Stampeders early in this ball game.
Second down and about an inch for the Stampeders at the Eskimo 30-yard line. You were right, Frank. Wants to waste one. It may cost them, though. The Eskimos were ready for it. He didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down.
They're giving him a spot, Dale, that is right at the line of scrimmage.
Daly making the tackle, and I think Barnes...
Well, they gave him all of that one.
Boy, did he ever. Lumsden would have loved a spot like that on that third down play.
That's true. He's going to be short by about the width of the yard marker there.
Almost
We're not
exactly.
going to start the game of inches now, are we?
Third down and just a little bit. The Stampeders will get another series of downs to work with here with 2 minutes remaining, third quarter.
Good surge by the Stamps getting off the football. All you got to do really is have that timing and get off together, and with the defense back a yard, you should pick it up every time.
So it is first and 10. The ball just inside the Edmonton 30-yard line. Runs into the ball game now in place of Danny Barrett. Inside receiver position. There's Barnes looking for Tolbert. He's got him, and it's jarred loose. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. Delorier, with the heavy hit on Emmanuel Tolbert, knocked it loose.
Well, that is just absolutely amazing, and nobody was hurt on that. Delorier timed it perfect. Watch this. Tolbert, no chance, because he's looking back to catch the football.
Whew. They rule he just didn't have it long enough to be a completed pass.
You think they're not sticking out there? Did not even get back on the ground, and that is knocked out in the fourth round.
Second down and 10 from the 30. Daly with the pursuit on Barnes. Throws incomplete, intended for tag Rome. And with the pressure by Daly, Barnes was just unable to get set up to throw that ball when you're throwing left or running left like that. And it'll be third down, and the field goal unit comes on.
Once again, a good defensive stand by the Eskimos as the offense turned it over at their own 40-yard line. JT will try to make it now a 4-point lead.
37-yard field goal attempt by J.T. Hay. The hold by Rick Johnson. Kick is up, but wide to the right. Delorier will give up a single point. So now the Stampeders have a 21-19 lead with 44 seconds remaining in the third quarter. In the CFL next weekend on Saturday, we have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with their big win over Saskatchewan yesterday. Will play the Eastern Riders. Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, 1:30 start. There are tickets still available for that football game. Should be a good one. Of course, next Friday we'll be in Vancouver to bring the game to you between the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. That'll start at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Friday night. CTV's Friday Night Football. The Eskimos go home next weekend to play Hamilton. We'll also be at Commonwealth Stadium to bring you that game on the full CTV network. Push down from the 35. Dunnigan throws it a little too high for Brian Kelly.
You know, Brian runs such great patterns, and the corners in this league know how dangerous he is. I think he gets a couple of extra steps of leeway from those defensive backs. Can break it out, and that ball is timed right. Brian would be there. It's not been a big night for him, though. Kelly's only caught 2 for 34 yards.
10 seconds left in the third quarter, and the clock counting down. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Complete to Rick House across the 45, and he's got an Eskimo first down at the 46-yard line. I believe that's his first catch of the afternoon, and that brings to an end the third quarter here at McMahon Stadium. Calgary leads Edmonton 21-19. Back at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, and the fourth quarter just about to get underway. You see how close it is. Stamps lead by 2. Eskimos 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line. Larry Cowan being pursued by 3 Stampeders. Culpepper, Worthy, and Mark Nelson, and he got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all. Chevrolet three-quarter stats now, and the Eskimos certainly closed the gap. The turnover situation playing a part in this ball game as well, but only 11 more yards now for the Stampeders in total net yards.
Even ball game, score-wise and every other way now.
2nd down and almost a full 10 to go. Dunnigan.
There you go again.
To midfield, he'll be just shy of a first down. Bernie Morrison, Culpepper making the stop.
Yeah, those 2 inside people right here have to keep their lanes. They go like this and like that. And Matt Dunnigan is not going to hesitate to take off with the football. Watch the 2 offensive guards turn them to the outside. A little bit of help there by the center, Dermott, and that's all he needs to see, and he's going to go.
Dunnigan has picked up 54 yards rushing today. The Calgary Stampeders as a team have only picked up 36.
Matt now over 400 yards rushing for the season halfway through, and that's even a little better pace than he had last year. He had 700, I believe it was 736 last year, Dale, 1984, so he's on target.
It's third down and less than a yard to go for the Eskimos, just across midfield. Time of possession as well, very close here this afternoon. Not much to choose between the 2. Dunnigan looked like he got stacked up initially, but then slid to his right and appears to have enough for first down yardage.
Didn't get a totally clean snap that time, and that, I think, was why he hesitated just a bit.
That was an awful big play, Dale. Had the Eskimos been stopped again, it would have been a morale crusher.
Well, a lot of determination that time, I think, Al, is just that they were not going to be stopped again. I don't think they were too happy with the spot that Lumsden got, but it was a good defensive play earlier by the Stampeders. This time, Dunnigan gets another series to work with. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 54. And this is Larry Cowan with the football. Cowan is inside the Calgary 40-yard line, down to about the 40 or 38. Bernie Morrison finally makes the stop on him.
Bill, I'll tell you what that running of Matt Dunnigan does. It makes people try to make sure they contain. And if you watch number 64 there, Walker, James Walker, he goes so wide that the hole is just wide open. Troutman goes straight ahead. Walker goes to the outside. Heck, Porte just knocks him out. There's a 5-yard opening there.
Pretty easy block.
That's because of Dunnigan's running.
Yeah. Pretty easy block for the offensive tackle, isn't it?
Yeah, we never admit that.
This time they get to Dunnigan back at the 44-yard line. That is Stu Laird, who's now into the ball game defensively. And he comes up with the big play, and he drops the Eskimo quarterback for a loss of 5, close to 6 yards.
I don't think he was touched by anybody back there.
Second down, 16 yards to go for the Eskimos. The ball at the Calgary 44. Big pressure up the middle, and they go to Woods. Richie Hall is there again, and the Stampeders defense once more rises to the occasion.
And Freddie Fleming has done the same thing again. An isolated shot on the only defensive back in the play. Watch it. I'll tell you one thing. If I'm going to go show a screen or a play that develops rather slowly, I'm not going to run it to Richie Hall's side. He is just too aware.
He is there to stop it every time, isn't he?
The loss is 9 yards on the play. There's the breakdown of rushing and passing. Almost a balance for the Eskimos, whereas the Stampeders have pretty well ignored the run.
Punt by Tom Dixon. His shortest pick of the day, but it gets a good bounce into the end zone. And Rufus Cox will take it out of the end zone, and it's now a 21-20 ball game in favor of the Stampeders, but we do have a penalty marker on the play.
Might be no yard.
71-yard single as it stands at the moment. We'll check it. We'll come right back in just a moment. Here's had to give up a single, but the Eskimos have declined the single, and the holding call against the Stampeders puts the ball at the Calgary 5-yard line.
Well, as you can see, Randy Ambrosi looked like he tackled one of the Eskimos, so Calgary is going to have it all on the defense or in the offensive shoulders right now. 11-12 remaining. They are ahead in this ball game by only 2 points, coming from their own 5-yard line.
I've been reading that card all day. Hey! Hey, 1 point! No point? No.
No, it's unusual. Dale, this is a change from the last time we did an Eskimo football game. Jackie Parker never wore a headset for an awful long time. He left that up to the rest of his coaches. You see, Bud Riley does sometimes as well, but Jack hardly ever wore a headset. Now he's got one on again today.
A couple of games to remind you about. Next Sunday in the CFL, Saskatchewan Roughriders will be playing at the Big O in Montreal against the Concords. That starts at 1 o'clock in Montreal. And we'll be in Edmonton as the Eskimos will host the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and that'll be on the full CTV network starting at 4 o'clock Eastern Time next Sunday. Now it's first down for the Stampeders from their own 5-yard line. They still lead by 2. The give up the middle to Mason has stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And I think it was Zachary who got the initial hit on him.
Just an absolutely great play by Zachary, number 92, as he pinches down to the inside. They're trying to trap him coming from the left side. And watch this. He just gets really, really low, and the ball carrier can't do anything about it. He stacks up Dave Kersinger, number 69, a left offensive guard, right at the line of scrimmage.
A gain of about a half a yard. Second down for the Stampeders. Quickly to Danny Barrett. He's tackled immediately by Gary Thompson, number 19, and he's having a good day, and this is his first ball game with the Eskimos.
But it's still no first down, Dale. That's only about a 7-yard gain.
Punting unit for the Stampeders comes on, and this is what the Eskimos wanted their defense to do. Stop them right here and force them to punt.
An Eskimo down one again. Well, Jack's showing a little confidence in his defense now, who have come on strong after that first quarter where the Stampeders scored 17 points. A beautiful day here at McMahon Stadium, and the best crowd of the year, 18,253. seen a good football game. And they're bathed in the beautiful southern Alberta sunshine right now. Mandrich now being taken off the field, and Stampeders will have to punt it away. Harry Berryman in there at offensive center, and there's our old buddy Jackie Parker, the legend himself.
Outside of the end zone to punt this one away. Jeff Treplin backed up to his own 46, 47-yard line. Gets a good run back to the Calgary 51. So the Eskimos will have good field position, and that's what they wanted. They trail by 2 points here with 10:07 left. We'll be right back. Down Eskimos. The ball just outside the Calgary 50-yard line. To Rick House. Big gain for the Eskimos inside the 15-yard line. Hopkins finally got back to make the stop, pick up a 38 yards, and House looks like he's shaken up on the play. Possibly winded, may have gone down on the ball.
Watch how concerned the Stampeders are of getting that outside containment on Dunnigan. He buys himself a lot of time and throws an absolute strike to House.
House showing his experience. He just went out and settled right into the opening and waited for Dunnigan to get the ball to him.
We got a Stampeder down as well. Bill, I can't see who it is at the 25-yard line, but House obviously injured as he went down on that shoulder. 9:38 remaining now, and it would appear that the Eskimos are going to go in front for the first time in this ball game.
Just a moment ago,
Ken Miller.
We had John Mandridge come out of the ball game, but he, although he is playing with a problem with a neck, it was not a neck injury. He took a helmet in the stomach and was winded, but he'll be all right. Well, Rick House, we'll see what the story is when he gets to the bench.
Ken Miller, the young defensive back who's put such great hits on the opposing team all day long, and a first-year pro from Eastern Michigan, is also down. So
we'll check that one out, Frank.
We got one from each ball club. Now, how are you going to be on both sidelines?
You watch.
All right.
Miller is back on his feet and leaving the playing field. House is sitting up now. Ken Miller, previous CFL experience with Ottawa and Montreal. In his first game with the Calgary Stampeders. Now Rick House holding that right arm. Went down heavily on, looked like his right shoulder or his arm. But it's first down for the Eskimos after the 38-yard gain. The ball at the Calgary 13. Eskimos trailed by 2. Larry Cowan slipped out of the grasp of Troutman, and then he was stacked up as he got close to the 10-yard line.
Good play by Troutman. That was a very similar play to the touchdown that Cowan scored from 11 yards out with excellent blocking by his offensive line. Pick up here, however, is only 2 yards with 9 minutes now remaining in this ball game. The Stamps are ahead by 2.
Second down and 8. Great drop for Dunnigan. Looking for Sinkar. Touchdown, Edmonton. Marco Sinkar's first touchdown of the season. And the Eskimos go in front for the first time this afternoon.
Watch it once again. Brian Kelly driving the defense deep, and Sinkar breaking below him. And wide open. Good throw by Matt Dunnigan. Greg Peterson in there on defense. Number 24, I believe, was the Stampeder that he beat. There it is.
Tom Dixon converts the 11th touchdown pass of the season by Dunnigan to Marco Sinkar this time, and the Eskimos in front. 26 Eskimos just getting a touchdown from Marco Sinkar, lead of 26-21, and Tom Dixon to kick off. Puts it into the end zone, and the Stampeders just let it roll. Is it going to go out? Yes, it does. So there's no single point on the play. And it'll be 1st and 10 Calgary, the ball at their own 25-yard line. 8:43 left to play in the ball game. Stampeders up in front 17-1 at the end of the first quarter, but the Eskimos have come back. And here's Al.
Well, updating the injury report, the serious one appears to be perhaps Rick House. They're concerned about a potential or possible shoulder separation. The doctors looked at it. I doubt that he'll play again. Ken Miller, by the way, only got shaken up. He'll be fine. He'll be back. But Rick House could be hurt.
On 1st and 10 for the Stampeders, Barnes is intercepted by Laurent Delorier at the 48-yard line, intended for Danny Barrett down the middle. That play was there early in the ball game, but since the first quarter, the Stamps really haven't been successful with that one.
Well, Joe once again puts it up for grabs as Barrett was covered below and behind him. The throw would have had to be absolutely perfect, and it was not. Joe, by the way, has thrown 13 interceptions coming into the ball game today, and
3 today.
He's put 3 more in there, so he is the most intercepted quarterback in the CFL. Only 16 of those are against Barnes. And by the way, that injury to Ken Miller may not have been too serious, but it cost the Stampeders 6 points maybe, because they had to put a rookie, Greg Peterson, in there, and Sinkar beat him easily.
On the first down play for the Eskimos, this is Larry Cowan with the football, and he's to the Calgary 40-yard line. Knox Culpepper got over there again to make the stop for Calgary. It'll be 2nd down and 2 from the 40. Delorier receiving the congratulations from his teammates.
What a day he has had.
Yeah.
You know, when we look at the Carlin O'Keefe offensive and defensive stars, you know, it's going to be pretty tough to vote him out of that defensive spot.
Think back to that big hit he made on Emmanuel Colbert at the 5-yard line.
That's right.
Now the interception. 2nd down and 2. Neil Lumsden, 35-yard line, and he has a first down, and Culpepper again making the tackle.
You know, Laurent has only been in this league a very short period of time, but, you know, Dale, from the very first game he played, he seems like he fit right in to the defensive scheme of the Eskimos, and he's been one of the real stalwarts in good times and bad. They don't have to worry about that position.
His first regular season game in the CFL last year, he got 3 interceptions. Big opportunity now for the Eskimo offense. First down from the Calgary 35. Here's Larry Cowan. Hurdles one man. That was Mark Nelson. And then the Stampeders had pursuit from the inside, and Belleville got over there to put the stop on him after a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6. The ball now at the Calgary 31.
Stampeders desperately need a big defensive play right here. 6:37 remains.
Woods splits off to the left side. Brian Kelly, the wide receiver, to the right. 2nd down and 6 for the Eskimos. Jones swinging out of the backfield. Dunnigan goes deep. Wide open for the touchdown. Chris Skinner, who came into the ball game on that play. His first touchdown of the year. Chris Skinner increases the Eskimo lead with just over 6 minutes left. 31-yard scoring play.
Well, there's linebacker Mark Nelson trying to cover on the play as Skinner came out of the backfield, and Skinner's got just too much speed for a linebacker. A very easy throw by Dunnigan, but he lofted it properly, didn't try to drill it in there, and the Eskimos go ahead 32-21.
Fred Worthy is injured ball player.
Stampeders led this football game for 3.5 quarters. And now look like they're going to trail by 12. Worthy an ankle problem, obviously.
Dunnigan really just lays this one up there beautifully for a wide open Chris Skinner. You know, I mentioned earlier that there's been people wondering why this young man doesn't play more. Anytime I've seen him play for the Eskimos, I've been very impressed with him. He is a tough man to bring down, and he's got some speed for a guy who's 210 pounds. second-year player out of Bishops. Worthy is now back up and walking to the Stampeder bench.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, regardless of what happens here this afternoon as far as the final score is concerned, the Stampeder fans should not be disappointed. It was a great, entertaining football game. I'm not writing them off already with 6 minutes left to go, but the Eskimos have come storming back.
Well, a couple turnovers. They really hurt you, don't they?
They sure did. 2 turnovers and a very costly penalty early in the third quarter against the Stampeders.
All right, following the touchdown by Chris Skinner from 31 yards out on the pass from Dunnigan, Tom Dixon converts it. And the Eskimos, with 2 quick touchdowns, now lead it 33-21. Let's go to Al for an update.
Well, Dale, the update is not good news for Rick House. They're taking him on the golf cart back to the dressing room, and they want to examine that shoulder, and we certainly hope, and I'm sure everybody watching hopes that it is not a separated shoulder for this fine veteran slot back.
Well, we have plenty of action coming your way next Saturday on CTV's Wide World of Sports. The Kraft Fitness Challenge, Escort Radar Warning 200, and Australian Rules Football. You haven't seen that rule? The Australian
Oh, I like it. I only seen a little bit of it, but I really like it.
Boy, it is something to see. CTV's Wild World of Sports line up next Saturday.
I got to be honest with you, I don't know what that radar warning is.
I don't either.
Well, you better tune in and find out.
The kickoff by Dixon into the end zone. Rufus Cox, a little indecisive what he was going to do. He thought for a moment of bringing it out and then gives up a single point. It's now 34-21 in favor of the Eskimos.
That's all right. That 1 point doesn't mean much. You got to convert those extra points anyway if you can put a couple in the end zone. Now we'll see if the Eskimos really put pressure on Joe Barnes, because they know he has to put it in the air.
You were asking about the Escort Radar Warning 200. That's a championship auto racing team.
Right.
Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio on Wide World of Sports. I think we had that information somewhere.
Thanks, Dave.
First down for the Stamps from the 35. Barnes goes to Greg Finger, turns it upfield, and driven out by a pair of Eskimo defenders. Thompson and Hall has a gain of 7 on the play. Rick Johnson now into the ball game at quarterback in place of Joe Barnes.
Boy, Bud Riley spoke very highly of him yesterday in the press conference. He's not played very much, as you can see. Only 5 completions coming into the ball game. That was his 6th. But he's got a great arm and a very intelligent young man, we're told.
Bud Riley says he's got an outstanding arm. Penalty marker is down. Mason, another newcomer for the Stampeders, slashes his way for first down yardage. It was 2nd and about 2.5, but there are flags down. Offside Eskimos.
Well, the Eskimos trailed dramatically in that total offense category after the first 15 minutes, but they really have dominated this football game since that time. The Stamps were hit 17-1.
Edmonton number 99 declined. First down.
Defense has given up only 4 points in almost 3/4 of football.
Rick Johnson at the controls. First down Stampeders near their 50-yard line. So there's a bit of a mix-up in that backfield. Johnson goes to Mason, and he is driven down immediately by the linebacker, Daly, number 44. The gain is about 1.5 yards on the play to the 51.
Daly's had quite a football game, too, in that linebacking spot. He's been very much of a big play guy today for the Eskimos, including a big interception.
Second down. Johnson throws. Incomplete. Intended for Rufus Cox, and the coverage was provided by Darrell Hall. And that'll bring up third down, and the Stamps will have to punt it away with 4:38 left.
Eskimos really dominating this football game now. Good coverage downfield. And we've seen good coverage quite often, as you saw Joe Barnes, there, number 17, throw right into coverage a couple of times, and it cost him dearly.
Zachary and Williams good rush up front. Hayes punt, bouncing around at the 10-yard line. Treflin finally picks it up, puts his head down, and runs right into Garrett Dahl at about the 13 or 14-yard line. 52-yard punt that time, and a return to 6. And a reminder again of CTV's Friday Night Football from BC Place out in Vancouver. The Lions will host the Toronto Argonauts. That'll start at 10 o'clock Eastern Time this coming Friday. And following today's game, we'll be announcing the Carling O'Keefe Game Stars. And we have just over 4 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Calgary had the lead right up until halfway through this fourth quarter, but the Eskimos have put a couple of touchdowns on the board and now lead at 34-21. Dunnigan in trouble back at the 10-yard line, and Belleville gets to him there. There'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play. Second down and 14.
Eskimo quarterbacks coming into today had only been sacked 26 times compared to 42 against the Stampeders. Good part of that, of course, is Dunnigan's running ability. As you see the time counting away now against the Stampeders, who are looking for their second victory of the 1985 season.
The give is to Milson Jones. He stopped shy of the 15-yard line by Bernie Morrison, number 72. So it'll be third down, about full 10 yards to go, and so the Eskimos will have to punt now. Milson Jones with a touchdown earlier in this ball game, an 11-yard draw play. He went into the end zone untouched.
And young Mr. Tom Dixon has been a very key player for the Eskimos as well today. He has really kicked that football.
Coming into the ball game, he led the league in punting. And we have 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Edmonton leads at 34-21. It's 3 seconds, 13-point lead for the Eskimos. And they're getting set to punt on 3rd and 10 from their own 14-yard line. Tom Dixon standing at his goal line. High snap, brings it down, gets an end-over-end kick away. It's got good distance, though, back to the Stampeders' 49-yard line, and this is Rufus Cox on the return, and he is stopped shy of midfield. That was a 47-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Rod Conop, number 67, the offensive guard, making the tackle on Cox. He'll remain out there, line up as a wide receiver now as the Stampeders go on offense with Rick Johnson at the controls.
Yeah, this youngster's got to get it in the end zone and get it there quick.
Johnson looking for Cox.
Oh, Cox wide open. Johnson just a little quick in throwing that football. If he'd have waited a split second longer, Cox broke to the outside. You can see the youngster checking the plays on his wrist there and say, okay, what magic do I have here? 2nd and 10 with 2:42 remaining. Trailing by 13.
One more game tonight in the CFL to complete the Labor Day weekend action. That has Montreal at Hamilton. Johnson dumps it off now to an offensive lineman, and flags go down, and that was Randy Ambrosi. He just looked for a red jersey and threw it to him.
Doesn't work that way.
Daly making the tackle. Randy Ambrosi, the rookie out of the University of Manitoba, showed good hands. He had to reach way down there to pick that one up.
Randy knocked that ball down. You don't want to catch it. You're going to get hit for no reason.
Ineligible receiver, Calgary number 51, declined.
Also down.
3rd down.
So on Johnson and the offense, unable to move the football. They'll have to punt it away once more. 2.5 minutes left. Treflin backpedaling to his 5-yard line. Caught by Garrett Dahl. And think that'd be a safe bet that Garrett Dahl may be the special teams player of the Stampeders for this afternoon's ball game. I mean, it seems like he's down on every tackle on these punts. A 51-yarder that time and a return of 2.
Ron Hopkins is down there a lot too, Dale, but they have done a good job. Actually, both teams done a good job on the specialty team. And it would look like Coach Jackie Parker will wind up with the Eskimos once again 4-4 midway through a CFL campaign for the 3rd year in a row.
Of course, when he took over coaching, that's what the record was.
First down, sir.
He replaced Pete Catella.
Jack's coaching record as a head coach with the Eskimos is very close to that 500 mark.
Dunnigan, and the handoff. Larry Cowan up to the 20-yard line, and he has a first down, a gain of 13 yards. Darrell Moyer, the safety, making the tackle, and Larry Cowan has now carried 13 times for 73 yards this afternoon.
Cowan had 246 yards rushing coming into the game today.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the ball game. The Eskimos content to keep it on the ground. Once again, Larry Cowan has a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8 from the 22. The Eskimos will be at home next Sunday against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That'll start at 2 o'clock at Commonwealth Stadium. We'll be there to bring it to you on the full CTV network starting at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Timeout has been called.
And we will be in the Evergreen Playground in Vancouver to see the Argonauts challenge the #1 team in the Canadian Football League, the BC Lions.
Pair of games next Sunday. Saskatchewan playing in Montreal, and as I just mentioned, Hamilton at Edmonton with a 4 o'clock start Eastern Time on the full CTV network.
You know, Dale, this is a tough one for the Calgary Stampeders. I'm at their bench now. They're a really deflated bunch of athletes. As you pointed out, you get a 17-1 lead. They had the momentum going for them, but now they find themselves a couple of touchdowns behind with time running out and realizing 1-7 is a pretty desperate situation.
Well, you know, Bud Riley was saying he likes to get those new people in there who want to play hard and make things happen, but the problem is you get too many people that are new in your lineup. There's no consistency yet built into your lineup.
That's exactly right.
But you know, Dale, it's a rock and a hard place because he does feel that he's improved the talent at each position. So
Cowan again to the 25, 26-yard line. That was the 2nd down play. It'll be 3rd and 4, and the Eskimos will be forced to punt. Of course, a big victory for the Eskimos here with less than 2 minutes to go and up by 2 touchdowns. Moves them into a 3rd-place tie with Saskatchewan. And of course, those two teams will meet again this month at Taylor Field in Regina on September the 15th.
also keeps them in touch, at least, with the 2nd-place Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 6-2 now.
Hopkins, the ball is loose. Culpepper will score.
Oh, this may not be over yet. We wrote them up too quick.
That's for sure. There is a penalty flag down, but I think the touchdown will stand. Culpepper puts it in the end zone, his very first game in Canadian football, and Hopkins blocked it. Culpepper picked it up.
I told you Hopkins has been doing a good job on those specialty teams. Culpepper looks like he knows what to do with that football when he gets it. That puts the Stampeders within a converted touchdown if they make this extra point. And there's still 1 minute and 17 seconds left if they can be successful with a short kickoff. Don't tune out yet, folks.
Frank, remember that bench that was so deflated? They're bouncing now again.
Not so much now, eh?
Okay, J.T. Hay to try the convert out of the hold by quarterback Rick Johnson. It is good, and it is now Edmonton 34 and Calgary 28. Just 6 points separating these two clubs with 1:17 left. And J.T. Hay has now tied CFL record with his 246th consecutive
That
convert.
must be Dave Cutler's record, or
I
is
think
it
it's
Walt
Pasaglia's. Pasaglia's record.
Pasaglia.
Louis Pasaglia.
Yeah, Walt's his brother. Doggone it. That's right. Louis. Louis, forgive me. Well, Mr. Culpepper has put the Stampeders within 6 points of the Eskimos, and you can be assured that the Eskimos are going to have at least 10 people up there within 10 yards of the Calgary 45-yard line.
Frank, very quickly, Joe Barnes is up throwing again. He'll probably go in next offensive series for Calgary.
There's Knox Culpepper, who came into this very first CFL game highly recommended, saying to us that he had been playing out of fear and pride.
Well, that was after the so-called purge here the other day when there was a lot of roster moves made.
Fear, of course, of keeping his job.
As we mentioned earlier, he was only in camp 3 days and was activated, so he's been thrown right into the thick of things, and he certainly responded in fine fashion. Big touchdown. Here's J.T. Hay with the short kickoff, puts it nice and high, looking for Runge, and he got it. Dan Runge got it.
Oh, there's a flag up there. Now, we don't know what that flag's all about, but Runge gets about 11 feet in the air to touch that football. What's the call?
Well, I don't know.
We're gonna have a discussion here.
Yeah. Intentionally knocking it out of bounds, is that what they're going to rule?
Illegal kickoff. Calgary declined. First down.
Uh-oh. Well, what was illegal about it?
Well, that ball went 10 yards.
It certainly did.
We can't see it from that angle, but watch Runge go up in the air.
Oh, he went out of bounds before he went.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Oh, did he get up in the air?
Oh.
Slam dunk.
Watch him. He's right down the sidelines, but he steps out of bounds before he goes up in the air to touch the ball.
Yeah, there he is out of bounds for 2 or 3 steps. Good call by the official. Well, that would have created some sort of finish for us, wouldn't it? He's up there about 12 feet, I think, isn't he?
Incredible.
And Runge, by the way, if we did not tell you enough times earlier, is 6'9", the tallest player in the Canadian Football League.
Basketball, they say he's playing in the lights on that one.
You cannot go off the field of play and come back and make a play unless you're knocked out of the field of play.
Exactly right. Good call by the official. We were wondering about it at first, but it was obvious there that he was out of bounds. So the Eskimos take over 1st and 10 from their own 52. Dunnigan faked the pitch, stumbled a bit, still managed to turn it into a gain of about 3 yards.
Boy, you know, as valuable as Matt Dunnigan is, I wouldn't have him running the football at this point in time with just 1 minute left to go. Give it to somebody else.
Second down and 7 for the Eskimos right at midfield. He went out of bounds with it, so the clock is stopped at 1:10 remaining.
Stamps have to get a turnover here.
What they have to do, of course, is prevent a first down right now. Dunnigan throws to Cowan, and they stopped him short of the first down. Tackled immediately by Ken Miller, number 21.
Gain is only about 3 or 4 yards. They'll be well short.
Depends where they spot it. He's at the 50-yard line. He'd be about 2 yards short, and the punting unit comes on, so the Stamps will get the ball back once more. And they drove him out of bounds. Clock is stopped, 1:05 remaining.
Remember that 1 point, the chance they had of going for 2 points earlier in this ball game? I bet you the Eskimos wish they had that up on the board right now.
Almost blocked by Stu Laird. Rufus Cox on the return. Gets to the 12-yard line with 44 seconds left. And the Stampeder offense comes back onto the field, led by Joe Barnes. 53-yard punt and a 9-yard return. And the Stamps Have a long way to go, but they do have 44 seconds, and the experienced Joe Barnes at the control.
Watch how close this is. Boy, if you would think after having a punt block to put the ball club back in the game that they would have just a strict hold up there.
First down, Stampeders. Eskimos dropping a lot of people back into coverage. Wide open is Tag Rome. Midfield, he's got it. 54-yard line.
36 seconds left. They're in the Eskimo into the field, a 53, 54-yard line. They have time, 36 seconds.
44-yard gain. Tag Rome was wide open down the sidelines.
No rush on Joe Barnes. They got to get in there and bother him.
Tony coming over and putting a lick on him. Now Barnes back to throw once more, looking for Mason, and he threw it just a little too high. Incomplete, stops the
down
clock.
the field, though, Dill. Down the field. Not the 8-yard breakout. Won't do it now.
Boy, that game yesterday at Taylor Field went down to the last play, and the Riders got to the 10-yard line against Winnipeg when the game ended. Now the Stampeders are looking at 2nd and 10 from the Eskimo 54-yard line. Eskimos lead by 6. 28 seconds left. Straight drop this time for Joe Barnes. Down the middle, it's batted down by Tom Tuanay, number 90.
Throw it down the field, Joe.
24 seconds left, and 3rd down coming up. Got to do it now. Tuanay was the man. Got his right hand up there to knock that one down.
Bill, you mentioned that ball game yesterday in Regina. We'd like to congratulate Ronnie Lancaster and George Reed and all the other guys with the Big Green from Regina who were picked as the all-time greatest.
I'd like to congratulate the people who put that thing together. They did a super job. Darryl Ring with the dinner and Tom Staceyson with the production end of it. The halftime yesterday, what a weekend they had. Barnes goes down, but there are penalty flags on the field. Zachary got to Joe Barnes. There is a penalty marker down.
Well, the Eskimos came in there. They did not even blitz. They did bring 5 people, but there was not a full blitz.
First down.
Well,
so the ball goes over to the Edmonton Eskimos with 20 seconds left, and Jack Parker breathes a sigh of relief.
Well, he said we had to make it hard on ourselves. Great play by Zachary, who just kept coming all afternoon. Had a good football game defensively for the Eskimos. Bud Riley obviously very disappointed on the sideline as Ron Hopkins with a blocked punt gave this ball club a life in the last couple of moments.
So the Eskimos will have to ground the football twice to officially end this ball game. Dunnigan for the first time, and now with 17 seconds left, you just have to do it once more, and this game will be history. But it turned into a great finish thanks to the blocked punt by Hopkins, and Culpepper taking it in the end zone to make it close at 34-28. The Stamps did get another shot at it, but
a nice combination between Barnes and Tag Rome that put the ball into what could have been scoring position with a little more success.
This will be the last play of the ball game as time has run out on the scoreboard clock. Dunnigan grounds it. The Edmonton Eskimos have evened their record at 4-4 and have moved into a 3rd-place tie in the Western Division with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 3rd year in a row now. The Eskimos are at 500 halfway through the season. And a dejected bunch of Stampeders will leave the field. They had a 17-1 lead at the end of the first quarter, but Jack Parker's Eskimos came back to win it, finally took the lead in the 4th quarter. And the results of our polls, should the active rosters in the CFL be increased? And the vote, 64% in favor of seeing more players in the lineup game day.
They voted with the coaches. The general managers, I'm not sure would agree with that. But that's an interesting observation by the fans across the Canadian Football League. Jack Parker is wending his way with Freddie Fleming over to Al McCann, and we're going to have a chance to talk to Jack in just a moment. As you watch Bud Riley, I'm sure very disappointed as he goes off the field. Al has got the legend himself right down at field level. So, Al,
Take it away.
Thank you, Frank. I've got Coach Parker with me now. Coach, congratulations. What another exciting Labor Day in Calgary. There's been a lot like this one.
Well, that's right. We got behind early in the game, and I thought our guys really did a heck of a job to come back out that second half and kind of take over a little bit. They really did a good job.
Well, you know, you've had your defensive problems with things like contain and pass rush. It looked like you had them again, but I'll tell you, those guys looked a lot different in the second half.
Well, they did. And the big thing, I think, was just a real hard play and not giving up. And, when you get down like that in the first half, sometimes, especially when you haven't been going too good in the last couple of weeks, sometimes you lose a little. But our guys came back out in the second half and really played well.
Well, you put some new people in there, and they appear to acquit themselves well.
Well, I think so. I know a lot of people played really well, Al.
Tell me about your feelings at halftime. You're down 17-1. Did you make some adjustments?
Well, I don't think we were down quite that much.
Well,
but we just felt that offensively that we had some things that we could do, and we just had to get out and get them done. Defensively, our guys got hurt a little bit on some things early in the game.
Once again, Matt took advantage of their defense. Every time they tried to keep contained, he'd run it up the middle and break them.
Yeah, well, Matt did an awfully good job. He got banged up a little bit, but, and his neck was bothering him a little bit, but he did a good job.
Coach, there's only kind of one gloomy thing about today's victory. You might have lost Rick House, and he's played awfully well.
Yeah, I'm afraid we might be in trouble there with Rick. Rick's getting hurt. It looks like he could have a shoulder problem.
Jack, I know you want to get back to your team. Congratulations, big win.
Thanks, Al.
Good luck.